Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Lancescurv. First thing I want to do is ask how the sound sounds. Renee Green, Tracy J in the house early on. We have a few other people who are going to be coming in, and a few who are already here. Let me know how the sound sounds, the vocals. If it's clear enough. We're tweaking some things, investigating some things. And what can I say? Trying to make things better. But I do have some technical issues with my sound and some equipment. So I'm doing a few workarounds. So as long as you can hear what I'm saying clear enough, let me know. And wow, Reese, welcome on in. Gifty, out of town and driving on the freeway, but here. Oh, that's what counts. That's the only thing that counts. We may have many miles between us globally, but really and truly we don't, because we walk in one spirit and walk in one accord. And so it's just so nice to see everyone come on in, and it's so nice to see how we all get along here and how this is basically a drama-free platform with everybody respecting everyone. So I guess the sound is okay. And I wanted to speak about the corporate castration of Black culture through hip hop music and how we're all touched by that. Now, yesterday, Rich Homie Quan, a rapper from Atlanta, died, unfortunately, transitioned at 33. There were some reports that said 34. But this, I have to say, was about timing while I put his photo here, because he wasn't the epitome of what I'm talking about tonight. But I did want to honor him by showing his face, but the subject itself does not have anything to do with him and how he carried himself. He was basically one of the good guys. I mean, he may cut a word or two here and there, but he wasn't about the destruction of his people. And yes, he had a brush or two with the law, but for the most part, he was conscious as to what he put in his music. And he was one of the biggest names in hip hop back in the mid 2010s, around in there, 11, 12, 13. And that big song that he made, Type of Way. Now, I'm not up on him with his music the way that, it's dipping in and out. Okay, let me, I got a wireless thing going on here, so let me just take this out and just give me a second just to do the transition. Oh yeah, let me continue talking. Let me get another opinion. Maybe this is the way it works when I do it this way. Too technical to speak, but you picked it up. And you picked it up before when I did it this way. So you know what? I'm taking your word for it. Just give me a second. Okay. I think that should do it. You seem to have quite a trained ear. Wow, you always catch it. Yes, okay. Now let me position instrument here, and we'll just continue on. Thank you so much for the feedback, because I'm not a perfectionist, but I'm almost one, and I would hate to think that I wasn't doing my best. Okay, thank you, the cargo hustler. Thank you so much. And wow, life is moving so fast. But like I was saying, out of all due respect to Rich Homie Quan's family, I just want to say this up front so no one comes to attack me when they see the title and then they see him and they say, hey, he wasn't with that okie doke. He wasn't with showing the guns and the deletion of his brothers. And, he was a fun kind of guy. But like I said, it doesn't mean that your character is something of mud when you had a brush with the law. I mean, look at me. I had a brush with the law, beat down by 11 police officers. But I'm just saying, what else is new in America for a Black man? I just wish that with his mentality that he was granted more time to influence the art form. We all know that within that business, you have a certain amount of time when you're hot. Not that they give you an expiration date, but you know, in the entertainment industry, it's almost like unless you're on a higher level, a different level, or a more compromised level, you're going to have your time. Just put it that way. And I miss the days, which I can't say I was around in the 50s. I can say I was around in the 60s, but I wasn't a musical connoisseur, conscious of what I was hearing. But the 70s, the 60s and the 70s, because let me just tell you something. I don't like the way they do things now, and I will get into the topic. I'm just kind of warming up and in the dressing room, you know, verbally shooting out jabs and shadow boxing. But back in those days, and sorry if I sound like an older man who's reminiscing about the better days that I think are better, because I'm an older man reminiscing about the days that I think are better. There are a lot of younger folks in their 20s reminiscing about times that they never lived in. But I'll tell you, it just, maybe I'm wrong, but as long as a song was popular, it never ran off the charts. When the people demanded, and this is very important to think about also, when the people demanded that, hey, we want to hear this song. There used to be, remember back in the day, maybe somebody can't remember, right? Maybe somebody's a little younger. And I was told my age, which I have no problem saying I'm 61. But those of us from back in those days, when I said when they play a song, I had to correct myself. But those of us from back in the day who remember that time, we called the songs records. Well, that was a popular record because it is a record. It's a recording, but we had the wax, the 45 RPM, revolutions per minute, and 33 1/3, which are usually albums. And then you had the old 78s that spun fast, but that's, you know, older music that wasn't as popular. But I swear I could remember there were songs that went on for at least 2 years that were popular, that the radio played. And let me tell you something else that I remember. You could call the radio station, not all radio stations, right? And I'm willing to guess that the top radio stations in the metropolitan area maybe didn't get down like this, but those mid-level, late night radio stations, you were able to call and request a song. Now, I know a lot of people may not remember that, but I clearly remember that. And I have to say, in New York City, and I'm quite sure in Chicago and, you know, maybe Atlanta and Los Angeles or whatever, but I mean, all I know is New York City growing up. So I'm not here to be condescending, to be, oh, I'm a New Yorker, so I know everything. And what I say is, well, no, I'm very humble that way. I'm a modified New Yorker, right? So there was so much of a choice. And I think I said this last night. There was so much of a choice. Sweet Berry, welcome on in. Did I say everybody's name? Let me just go officially and just go down and say your name, say your name. Renee Green, Tracy J, Reese, Gifty Sidney. Let me jump that. The Cargo Hustler, Giant Gain, Sweet Berry. Now, if I miss anybody, it's because I'm looking all over the place and just close my eyes and reminiscing for a little while before I get into my notes and the points. And I will say that in the chat room, it should be pinned to the top. I think it should be pinned to the top. I'll check it in a little while, but it's in there. If anything, it's toward the top. The link to come on in if you want to share any information or make a point, but allow me to go through my notes and set the tone and all that stuff. When I say the lines are open, just click on in. And we're going to do it like that all the time. We're always going to do a live open mic show. And before I get on to that other point, I want to say I'm going to do this like this all the time. So when you see a topic, you go, oh, I know something about it. I want to talk on that one. You know that you'll be able to come in. And that's anyway, but I just want to put it out there for the new people. And there are a lot of new listeners that have come on in, and I check my analytics, and I have to say, wow, I'm really surprised. Although the numbers may not look huge, there are a lot of new people coming through. Trust and believe, and I'm overjoyed. This is a very old platform that's made new again because of what happened, and you know why. So I bring a lot of experience to a platform that's just not, but a few months old technically. That's okay. I am who I am, and that's all I am. I'm Papa the Sailor Man. So going back in those days, we had a connection with the music. You didn't have videos. You had to actually go out and see the performers themselves if you were so lucky to do so. There weren't categories like it seems like now. It seems like there's a slot for a group. We're talking R&B, hip hop, soul, black music, okay? There's always that group that sings love songs, R&B, and it's a group of black men. There's always that group of black women. There's always that solo standout, male and then the female. And then you had different combinations, whatever. And this is not necessarily in hip hop. It's almost like dog eat dog. Like you gotta, get yourself right there. Unless you're one of the favorites like Jay-Z or Kanye West, whatever, they can blow their nose in the microphone and it'll be a hit. Not necessarily that it will be a hit, but this is just speculation from the outside because I'm not in the music industry. I do have a family member who's in it, but they're high up in it. And I'd rather keep a little distance because I'm not trying to be sacrificed from what I've learned. You know what I mean? Oh, you got that uncle over there with a big mouth. Let's, you want to keep going? So we don't need that. So it just seems more of a business now. They'll watch the ratings and the first week out album sales and people are pressed. And if you don't do good in the first week or as soon as something comes out that you created, you're gone. You're forgotten. There are too many analytics involved. Now, I can understand in the movie industry to a point, but the way creative people who are really creative, as far as I saw back in the day, they just made music. It was organic from the artists. It was loved by the audiences. And that's all it was. And whatever backdoor deals were done, that was after the fact. Of course, contracts had to be signed and the business aspect was there, but it was about the music flying. When you're a kid, you make a paper airplane and the first ones kind of don't do too good. And then you learn how to bend the wings a certain way and you throw it and it's better. Some kind of dip and come up and dip and come up and dip in, and some go straight further. So you learn after a while with your craft and your style, and the artist got a feel for the people, what they wanted. Like the song said, you got to give the people what they want. So when we would go to parties, and I would go to parties that were grown, because my friends, they said, okay, you can bring your friends on over. We were in the backyard or something, and when things got down, which wasn't something we couldn't see, they were either in the living room or in the basement. And up north, the basements were really, really like low because they were basements. Now, if you could just give me a second to pull back this window a little bit, I had closed it because just as soon as I started, there was somebody way, way, way down at the bottom of the mountain here in the valley little area there and making lots of noise. So just give me a second. And I'm going to crack this one over here. So give me 10 seconds. Do a little cross breeze over here. Yeah, so we would bring on records. And when I got a little older, we had our parties, 14, 15, 16 birthday parties, years old and stuff. Everybody brought their records. They didn't say, well, you bring this one, I'll bring that one. We didn't know who had what. We just brought all these records. Wasn't no DJs or nothing. I'm talking way back. Now, you had that in the clubs and people who had the equipment, but when you were just a kid, 14 years old, 13 years old, you brought all your records. The people next door who may have come to the party at that house, they would bring a few of their dining room chairs and folding chairs, and it was just beautiful. Right? The only thing is, if we were dancing in the living room or in the basement or in the backyard, when the song went off, it was silence for a second, and everybody had to stand there on the dance floor until you took the physical record and put the other one on. Unless you stacked them up, and the arm of the record player had to move back, drop the other record. So what I'm saying is this is quite primitive, but you know what? It was so hands-on that I miss those times. And with all the technology that we have today, Diane, welcome on in, sister. I just saw your name, even though you've been here for a few. I'm glad to see you. Yes. But even though things weren't as technologically proficient where you can mix stuff, and even when you have the equipment to automatically mix a song where the beats are perfect, it was something about even hearing the beats off when you heard a song coming on when the other one was about to end. And the DJ would tease you and give you a few beats way faded in the back, and you knew you heard your song coming. And you got one song playing, boom, 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 and you hear faded over in the background, it's not over, it's not over. So people would get up on the dance floor because they knew that was their song. Hey, and they renewed interest. And it bumped people up. Let no man put us under. Doom, 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 doom. I'm reminiscing over here, y'all. Pay me no mind. But now we move up to the modern day, and as with everything that is high vibrational, especially amongst melanated people, it's been attacked. And I remember people from way back in the day say, can't we have anything for ourselves? Why can't we have something for ourselves that we create? Now, the very music that we play for the world, we don't mind who listens to it, but respect it for what it is. Don't try to take our soul and twist it around to be something poisonous to us. When our music was so healing, and let me just tell you, there are people who will listen to me speak about Black love and Black unity and Black connectedness. Well, what's wrong with that? When Black love, Black unity, and Black connectedness is attacked because someone doesn't like it. When we say Black love, and we have, let's just make up a scenario. You have a block party going on back in the day. You have a cookout going on back in the day. And maybe one of your coworkers drive up. Or it could be somebody who's just walking down the street that you know because of the work that they do in their garden. And they happen to be Caucasian. I have never seen a cookout, a block party, a house party, where if people are showing this Black love, they never rejected anyone who came in as long as they were respectful and as long as they had love in their heart. Never. So what's wrong with us saying that when it seems to be less and less of it around? The same way when you climb a mountain and the air gets thin. I'm talking about climbing a good-sized mountain. I remember climbing 11 of the 49 Adirondack Mountains in upstate New York near Canada when I was in camp in 1974 and 1975 for 7 weeks each. And I wasn't used to it. I'm a kid from New York City. I'm around all these white folks now, and we're hiking a mountain. It wasn't with cables and climbing, and no. It's a trail. But many of us who are not used to the altitude, we had to stop for a while and catch our breath. And I'm going to tell you, that's a very frightening thing. That you can't get enough oxygen into your lungs because the oxygen is thin. And mind you, that was a mountain only a mile high, just 1 mile. So if I was running out of oxygen halfway through, maybe it was 1/3 of the way, 3/4 of the way, let's just say half. What about people who climb Mount Everest? Isn't Mount Everest like 26 miles high? That's the tallest in the world, and you have Kilimanjaro. How do you deal with that? So me now looking at Black music, black entertainment. It's like I'm halfway up the mountain and I can't inhale any black love. I can't inhale any black unity. It's like I'm inhaling something that burns my lungs. Yes, blissfully too. Welcome on in. Good music that feels good to your soul. Can't we feel good? We're a feel-good kind of people. We work hard. And because of our attacks constantly over the last few centuries all over the world, which continues to today, at least let us get a little bit of escape into what we created for ourselves to feel good. You know, sometimes growing up, your folks said, well, we're going to go food shopping tomorrow because we don't have enough food in the house and it's too late to do anything. So we'll just get up early and we'll grab a bite to eat and then we'll go food shopping. But you're a little more hungry than the rest of the family. And you know you got 2 eggs in the fridge. You got a slice of bread. No, you got 3 slices of bread. And so you know to break those eggs over the bread, make some French toast, so you got that little bit of maple syrup in that bad boy, right? And so you go to bed now, not as hungry, although you're looking forward to getting that meal in the morning and doing some food shopping where you can throw a few things in the shopping cart when your folks ain't looking. You get to the cash register. Hey, what? I didn't see you put this in there. You smiling, hoping and crossing your fingers they don't tell you to put it back. But they never really do. What I'm saying is that what we're being fed is not of us. It's like someone trying to prepare a meal for you that your grandmother always did, and they try to fool you and say this is going to be the exact same way. Same ingredients, same amounts of ingredients, cooked the same way, but because the loving hands of your grandmother are not on it to infuse that dish and that culinary offering with love, it doesn't taste the same. It does not taste the same. The music today does not taste the same. The music today has been hijacked. So allow me to read off some notes. I'm going to rant a little bit. And like I said before, this will be an open mic. And you can click that link up top after I finish, and I'll make a little announcement, and then we will take the callers on in. Also, I want to say, on Lancescurv.com, permanently on the left, on the sidebar, which if you're looking at it through your phone, you probably won't see the sidebar. You just have to keep scrolling down. But if you're on a computer, I put a permanent sidebar widget on the left side for Memorandum 46, because my website was broken into 2 years ago, and I didn't realize, I realized what it was broken into after the Irritated Genie show, but I didn't realize that they had got in and turned the post that was very public and indexed by the Google search engine and bots. It was turned into a draft, meaning that it's being worked on and nobody can see it because it's not published, but it was published. Them people there, they're treacherous. And as much as you can hear about Memorandum 46, if you can, there's only 2 places where you can Google it and find it. Maybe 1 or 2 more, but on Lancescurv.com and on thefinalcall.com. If you Google it, you'll pull up the Final Calls version. But if you go to Lancescurv.com, you'll see it there. And eventually it will be more available in the search engines, but they do not want you to see that modern day Willie Lynch letter. So I took some clips from the show yesterday where I spoke about that and put it all over social media. So now they can go down and try to pick up the pieces and stop that. And I put the link. I'm going to keep doing that. So always make sure to share that. If you don't want to share the one that's on my site, for whatever reason, you can go to the Final Call. But it's the same exact thing. I copied and pasted it And now I can't find it at all. So I'm glad that I did that. And this is why they win. And I'm going to keep on checking it and making sure it's where you click that widget on the homepage of Lancescurv.com and you'll be able to get it there. I feel that this is mandatory reading for everybody. It's not about me. I just happen to salvage it, put it in my pocket, and sneak out the shop with it. And here it is. Hip hop music, an undeniable creation of Black people, is a reflection of the collective Black experience, regardless of geographic origin. From its birth in the streets of New York City in the 1970s, hip-hop quickly became a global movement, one that transcended borders, languages, and cultures. While its exact origins may spark debate, there's no denying that hip-hop was a powerful cultural expression born out of the Black struggle, resilience, and creativity. It represented a revolutionary way for Black youth to channel frustration, tell their stories, and create something from nothing. Hip-hop emerged as a musical and cultural lifeline in the downtrodden urban environments, particularly in New York City's Bronx borough. In its early days, hip-hop was much more than music. It was a cultural renaissance that included DJing, MCing, breakdancing, and graffiti art. What made hip-hop so special was that it was entirely do-it-yourself. Black youth, armed with nothing more than a notebook, a pen, and their imaginations, could craft powerful lyrics and rhymes. They didn't need wealthy connections or expensive instruments. Hip-hop was accessible to anyone willing to create. It gave them a voice when the world tried to silence them. At its heart, hip-hop was fun, motivating, and enlightening. For the first time, Black people had a cultural export of their own that resonated globally. It wasn't sanitized or commercialized. It was raw, authentic, and unapologetically Black. However, as the influence of hip-hop grew, it became an undeniable force, one that corporate America could no longer ignore. Initially, corporations in mainstream America dismissed hip-hop as a passing fad, allowing Black youth to indulge in their culture without interference. But as the movement expanded, corporations saw the profit potential and everything changed. Once Black consciousness began to rise through politically charged groups like Public Enemy and X-Clan, which enlightened young Black people about the injustices in the world and their true history, hip-hop became a threat. These groups were not just entertainers, they were teachers, guiding a generation toward awakening and empowerment. At this point, corporate America moved swiftly to castrate hip-hop's original purpose. They realized that a united, conscious, and empowered Black community was dangerous to the status quo. So instead of promoting and nurturing conscious rap, they introduced and elevated rappers whose content was devoid of depth. These artists, lured by promises of wealth, fame, and power, willingly compromised their message and the culture. In return, they received corporate backing, widespread promotion, and lots of radio play, creating an illusion that this new form of hip-hop was the pinnacle of success. Under corporate control, hip-hop underwent a transformation. You see, I grew up seeing this. I'm a part of this Personally, I wasn't an artist. I should have got into it. I don't think I would have did so bad. But no longer was it a platform for empowerment, unity, and consciousness. Instead, it became a tool for materialism, sexism, and glorification of gang violence. Corporate executives who had no connection to the Black community carefully engineered the message of the music. They promoted self-hate, violence, misogyny, and hedonism, turning hip-hop into a destructive force rather than an uplifting one. Conscious artists were pushed to the fringes, while rappers promoting drug dealing, gang life, and the pursuit of material wealth were elevated. This new breed of rap was now poisoning the very communities that birthed hip-hop. Black youth, particularly those growing up in poverty and violence, began to imitate the destructive behaviors promoted in the music. Life began to imitate art, and the consequences were deadly. Black men, now portrayed as gangsters, drug dealers, and violent criminals, became targets of the prison industrial complex. Black women, subjected to constant bombardment of hypersexualized imagery and messages, began to internalize self-hate, promiscuity, and a desire for validation through objectification. The corporate takeover of hip-hop had a profound effect on Black women. In the early days of hip-hop, women were portrayed with respect and dignity as queens. But as corporate interests took over, this changed drastically. Black women were now seen as objects of sexual desire, reduced to video vixens whose only value was their physical appearance, scantily clad and damn near nude. The damage this caused to the psyche of young Black women, which was important we speak on this, cannot be overstated. Constant exposure to messages that glorified promiscuity, materialism, and self-objectification led many to believe that their worth was tied solely to their bodies. They were taught that success could only be achieved through compromising their dignity, whether it was through hypersexualized behavior or relationships with wealthy men who could offer them financial gain. This toxic ideology, perpetuated by corporate hip-hop, directly contribute to the spread of sexually transmitted diseases, including HIV/AIDS, within Black communities. The sexual immorality glamorized in the music was now claiming lives, tearing apart families, and further marginalizing Black women. The corporate castration of hip-hop didn't just impact the music industry. Several industries began to profit from the destruction of Black communities facilitated by the poison of low vibrational rap. I got 10 satellite industries here that quietly benefited from this crisis. See, we don't know how wide this went. We just think, oh, it's a couple guys with guns and they're trying to be pimps and gangsters and drug dealers, whatever. No, this thing was hijacked, taken out of our hands, and carefully crafted to profit so many other industries while killing us off. We can't have a damn thing for ourselves. The private prison industry. As hip-hop glorified gang life, violence, and drug dealing, the private prison industry boomed. Black men and women, inspired by the criminal lifestyles promoted in the music, were funneled into the prison system, which now profits off of their incarceration. The judicial system, lawyers, district attorneys, and judges benefit from the increased crime rates among Black youth. The justice system profits from the mass incarceration of Black people, often for nonviolent offenses. Food services. Companies providing food to prisons profit from the mass incarceration of Black people. Prison meals are sourced from contractors who make billions annually off of the prison population. And let me add in more. That's a topic all unto itself. Because as you well know, I worked with the incarcerated as a correctional officer in a jail and in a prison. And what I noticed that they were feeding these young men who had no choice. There was no menu in the prison or the jail. You got what you got. Now, from what I've observed and what many people who were incarcerated on both fronts would say, that the prison food was a lot better because you're going to be there for a long time. But the jail food, oh man, I'm not speaking about every jail because I didn't work in every jail, but when I worked in Orlando, Florida, at the Orange County Corrections Department, I mean, there was no sense, and I have to linger on this for a while. No wonder a lot of the guys felt malnourished until they had a commissary account where they can order things off of a menu and have it delivered to certain things that were accepted. And they could eat those things. But the jail food alone, if you didn't have any money in your commissary account and can get the extra cans of tuna fish or mayonnaise or crackers or what, you know, and even that stuff, the majority wasn't something that you would say was super healthy. Fresh fruit? No, you didn't get it. Everything was manufactured in cans. And could you imagine now? I can't prove it, but this is just a mere thought. Imagine now those who are incarcerated are going to be force-fed GMO foods, food that's not real. Come on. You know that's the next step. That's the next step. But yes, that is something that is really big. And there was this little things of, it's not juice. It's a little bit of fruit punch or orange, little small, you know, like the little small milks that they would give in elementary school and public school for those who went to public school, little small things. So some guys like, man, I'm not eating that. I'm not drinking that. And some guys would, you know, if they didn't have any money and they say they trade certain things off. But don't think you had a piece of chicken and mashed potatoes or some greens in there. No. In jail, shoot. I think they had chicken once a year. July 4th. Some old dried up. I know it wasn't Black people seasoning on that chicken. Now, you know, even white folks know they can't season chicken like Black folks. But that was once a year. But those drinks made those people feel funny because those drinks taste like medicine or something. I sipped one. And the rumor going around is that it makes the men impotent and not able to have children. And that makes sense, especially when you look at all the chemicals and those things that they're giving you to drink. And the water is going to have nothing but fluoride in it. So when you become incarcerated, right? And this is a whole different topic. I can talk about this for hours alone. I'm going to get right back on point. You're a guinea pig and you're being experimented on and you're going to slowly die. Even if you live, your life force, your melanin, and your vibration will be greatly reduced, and they'll monitor everything because they have the doctor station and the nurses and many hospitals connected to these prisons. You think that's for you? No. Trust me. Next, security firms. As rap artists portrayed gang life and violence as glamorous, security firms thrived, offering high-paying jobs for those protecting venues, studios, and events related to hip-hop. Don't you know that down through the years, and I just can't, it's not like, well, you know, 30 years from now, I'll be doing a YouTube live show and I'm going to jot this down to speak it. But you've heard about this before. Many venues did not want to host any type of hip hop affiliated or hip hop concert or any gathering. Look at it. In Daytona Beach, when they have their little, what do you call it, Freaknik or the college break or spring break. And in Daytona Beach, You have black folks in Daytona Beach, Florida, but there's always some tension with the police even ahead of time, because anytime there's a gathering, a huge gathering of young black folks, they anticipate trouble and or they try to agitate it beyond what it is. So just take note of that. That oftentimes the media will amp things up. The people there will amp things up. But also in Daytona Beach, they have a thing with the bikers. Now, I don't know all of these things. I don't follow these things. So I'm not going to sit here and lie and try to front. I'm just shooting off the cuff with this. They never have problems with the police when they're there. And they do more drugs. They do more wild drugs. They do more wild things. And you don't see the agitation that happens and pushed in the media. But on the same token, they don't mind them black dollars from coming into town. Now, Daytona Beach, Florida, it sounds nice. If you look on the computer, and I'm slowing it down to make it a little more entertaining, you'll see the palm trees, you'll see the beaches. They'll show the nice parts of Daytona Beach. And those of us up north say, huh, it must be heaven on earth because wintertime is so hard up here. But if you go, for the most part, to Daytona Beach and there's nothing going on, where they have to wheel out their best behavior, you'll see a place full of drug addicted, homeless, people with mental illness, downtrodden, barely hanging on. That place there, forget it. Oh yeah, Tracy, the lab-grown meat will be very popular for prisons and jails. And what they'll do, they'll probably offer a whole lot of it now because it's lab-grown. We want to see the results of those who consume this en masse even more. And you think the prisoners who are ignorant will have a problem with that? Man, we eating that good chicken, man. We had steak the other night. Man, I'm getting swole up in this place. But swole with what? Healthy muscle or tumors? You better be careful, right? So yeah, you know, many of these venues would refuse ahead of time. And they would tell you, we don't host hip hop or anything with that because of the trouble that it brings. See? So that's the stigma. Now, maybe if it was something back in the day, way back in the 80s, early 80s, it wouldn't be a problem, but they would have made it become a problem. They would have had their agitators and those people there to provoke something to happen. And of course, the media will be there to make you see what goes on. But they have, let me get the name right. I think it's called the Daisy Festival, right? And this is where the years that I lived in Orlando, Florida, and they changed the name. What's the big stadium there? Oh God, I forgot the name. But you know what though? It's okay. There's nothing of note to remember about that. But it was located between Tampa Avenue and Orange Blossom Trail. That's what I remember because I used to drive my bus through there all the time. And that's where Floyd Mayweather had the wrestling match with, what's the wrestler's name? The what big white guy. I forgot his name too. But anyway, the Daisy Festival was this festival of lights and this weird music. I'm gonna say it's weird. Don't be mad because some people say my music is weird, the things I like, right? It's just your personal choice. And at the Daisy Festival, and you can Google this when you have time. Daisy Festival, I'm quite sure it's Daisy Festival, Orlando, Florida. And they talk about black folks bad. Well, this was a festival of music at this particular stadium. It was centralized there, but it went on for a weekend, 2, maybe 3 days. And they would have ambulances. They're not going to tell you this. This is what I saw with my own eyes, detouring around the stadium because there were so many topless white girls walking around. And do you think that the cops stopped that? And why were they walking around topless? It wasn't the aim of the festival to have white girls walking around topless. They were high on drugs. They were high on Molly. They were high on all kind of things, had them walking around barefoot, you know, urinating in the street in front of all the cars, the cops looking at everything. They didn't have no problem. I guess they were told to stand down. Now that was something hip hop. Oh, we have to have pissing out here. Oh, we got to get them out of here. And you had 2 or 3 ambulances parked because people were falling out from the drug use. Now, I have to say, this maybe it's not that way anymore, but this was in a black neighborhood. A black neighborhood. They won't tell you that. Washington Avenue, which is a little more up north, 2 or 3 blocks. You had Tampa Avenue. You had John Young Parkway. You had the Senior Citizen Center right there, and there's a lake. And on the other side of the lake is a stadium. So these people had to endure all of this noise and all of these crazy white folk. The music, it wasn't even music. It was like a humming noise. And they had these laser lights, all these different types of colors, psychedelic, that even if you're driving by it, it's pulling your eye. You see it in your peripheral. I'm driving, I had to turn my head. You know, sometime when they said that, was it Pokemon or one of the Asian, Japanese, I believe, cartoons that was popular in the 80s and maybe the 90s, that certain children or certain adults who happen to see these flashing lights in rapid succession caused them to have seizures. So I don't know what type of, to me, it was demonic. Now here, look, I'm not a singer, but I'm gonna tell you how the music sounded like this. And it wasn't human beings humming. It was some instruments making this noise, but the bass was ground shaking, and that's all it was the deepest bass you ever want to hear, with these flashing lights, and you got the cops standing around looking at white titties. I'm gonna say it that way, yeah. And the ambulance parked waiting, and the ambulance would pull off. Oh, there's another one. And guess what? It wasn't like it was just 3. Because when one left, another one came to replace it because they anticipated. And I think several of the young ladies that, and could I call them young ladies? I'm just used to saying that, but whatever. Some of them were near death, but they didn't report that in the Orlando media, see, because they didn't want that to look bad. But if it was us, now here's another thing. Because of the weather, and in the humidity of the weather, right? This is the weird part. Because it was in that stadium, the sound went up. Now you can hear it all around because you're close to it, but the sound went up. And wouldn't you know, miles and miles away, I'm not going to over exaggerate it, but 2 and 3 counties over, the people in their quiet neighborhoods heard this music just as loud as if they were right next to it. That was a phenomenon that was so fascinating to me, that it wasn't like you heard it the whole, let's say you went out 50 miles and you're right next to the stadium. Now I'm gonna get back on point, but I gotta bring these things out because you're not gonna hear this anywhere else. If you drove out 50 miles, let's just say 50 miles, I think almost 100 miles, it was heard away. Let's say 100. And so you drive 2 or 3 miles, you might hear a little bit of the humming. But you get 5, 6 miles out, you don't really hear this thing no more. You'll see the lights shooting up and shooting over, the laser lights that shoot up to the clouds. And so you're driving and it's quiet. And you get 40 miles away, and guess what? Here it is again. Like, what? And so the people that didn't know what was going on in the city were terribly frightened. Some of them that were extremely religious and not too spiritual, they were freaking out. Oh my God, the devil's here. I just had to tell that little bit. Media conglomerates, major media companies profited from broadcasting and promoting low vibration hip hop, collecting billions in ad revenue while suppressing conscious and uplifting messages. I don't even have to go in on that one. That one's obvious. You know how that is. But then you see what really angered me, and I'll say angered. was that I've heard people who weren't a part of that growth from birth back in the 70s and the block parties and the turntables and the mixing. I was in Queens and it was heavy out there. I was born in Manhattan, was often in the Bronx. So growing up, that was part of my DNA. I'm not going to claim to be somebody's rapper. And I mean, I've bumped into people, known people, and know people who are affiliated with that, even today. And I'd like to put a show together with a few, or even get collective sound bites or recordings, because most of these people that I do know, they're very busy and probably can't commit to all being one place in one time. But I'm going to do that, put that together. But the media, they made money off of it. At the same time, they're going to demonize not just the music. They're not going to demonize the music. They're going to demonize the people life imitating art, knowing that they infuse the beats, the sweet beats, with poison lyrics. See, the beats are good. The beats are neutral. The beats aren't bad. There's music that I've heard where the lyrics were decadent, but the beats, I would always listen to the instrumental version and in my mind, put my own words. Now, I'm known for that. If you know me real good, all through from single digit ages, I would hear a song and make up my own song, and it was usually something funny. It was usually something humorously sexual. My adolescent years, I'm known for that. There's certain songs that my friends call me up and say, Lance, you crazy. Remember in 1978 when you changed the song around? I was humming it today. But that was good, clean fun. I was somewhat of a Weird Al Yankovic, if you remember who that was, but he was a white guy. So I'm the original. But we'll never get the credit. Next, fashion industry. The promotion of materialism and expensive designer clothes in hip hop created a consumer base of Black youth aspiring to wear the brands endorsed by their favorite rappers. Now, see, I'm not telling you anything that you don't know, but when you really think about it, who really thought about it? Yeah, you thought about it, but they took our little thing that we had that they didn't want to deal with at one time. Hell, MTV didn't even want to play Michael Jackson's videos. Thriller, they didn't want to do it. I remember that. And I was so shocked when they finally did it. And really and truly, if I was Michael Jackson, yeah, I understand was in the business of it. And I know he was controlled also, because he was getting down with them people. That's why he said they don't really care about us. And that's why before he died, by a show of hands, or instead of say, or yes or no, Y or N, did you ever see that video where Michael Jackson, and this wasn't a video like a production. There was somebody who luckily had either a camcorder. This had to be like 2001, around that time, 2000, 2001, 2002. And he was the most militant speaking Black Michael Jackson that I have seen. And I know somebody here had to see that. Tinker Field, that might be the name of it, the original name of it, a Giant Game. I just saw that too. It's right there off of Orange Blossom Trail. And what is the actual street that it's on? Oh God, I know Washington Avenue is off of it, whatever, off of Orange Blossom Trail. I'll self-correct that and make a comment with that in there. And also too, start commenting on the actual blog. Every show like this has an article with it, and the comment section way to the bottom. Those comments stay, they don't get removed. And you can write whatever you want to write, right? But a lot of us, we don't really realize how, when I say we, I'm not saying we, any of us here, because I know all of you got sense, and all of you here of my family can get behind a mic and talk the same stuff, but I know it's refreshing to go over stuff and for other people to hear it, right? But we've become more materialistic, and the children and the youth, Remember, time is flying for those of us who may be a little older because our perception of time is different. Me at 61, a year is 161, is 61 parts. That's quick. But for a child who is 1 year old and he goes to 2, he lives another lifetime. So I'm not living another lifetime in time. Oh, I'm 61 and I'm 122 next. No. So if I was living that long, that time would fly by. So it's your perception. So we don't really understand. Those of us who are of a certain age, then we do understand, but these children grew up in this state. We have to remind ourselves that. Let's just say when a child was born, the exact moment the World Trade Center came down. Now, why would I say that? Because that's something that we all know. So let's say 2001. Don't you know that there are children that we would call children that are 23 years old now, working jobs? Some of them have several children. Some of them are married. Some of them didn't make it to 23, and they transition. Natural causes, illness, or an accident, a killing. Whoops, not supposed to say that word. But the passage of time. Look at this brother here, rich homie Quan, 33 years old. 33 years old. There are rumors as to why he passed away, and I'm not going to bring that kind of stuff up, right? I'm not going to bring that kind of stuff up. It is what it is, whatever it may be. That's not the point. He was one of the good guys. And then again, I want to say for those who may come in later on, well, if you're talking about how bad hip hop is, why would you have him there? Well, he spoke about the bad lyrics and stuff, and I'm quite sure at some point he had to say something, you know. I mean, if I was a rapper, as old as I am, right, and I had some lyrics, I'm going to get mad at somebody and say something, but I'm not going to threaten anybody with gun violence. And I know I'll be quite comical and have different multiple personalities in that. Have you laughing. But this thing, they grew up in it. They grew up in social media. They grew up in gangster rap. Gangster rap was waiting for those children who were born, and we just picked that year just to pick it, right? 2001, they were born into this. They didn't even know what's going on. They 5 and 6 years old. Imagine now, you born in 2001. By the time you were 4 years old, YouTube came into being. So the psyche of the younger people, it's completely different than us who can go back to the older days of the cassette tape, the 8-track tape, the records, 45 RPM, 78 and a half, I think, RPM. Now it's MP3s. You don't even have to have nothing big. You'd have a whole library of music. You know how much 8-track tapes that I would have to, and you remember the 8-track tapes, right? You couldn't reverse those bad boys. This big clunky thing looking like somebody's sandwich. Click clunk, click clunk. So if you wanted to hear the song on repeat, you had to push the click clunk, and it had to wait a little while to process. Big, ugly 8-track tape. But the sound was superior to cassette. And now with cassette tapes, if you bought a tape that was 2 hours long, that meant the tape was thinner and it made damage. And don't let your finger touch that tape in there because it was exposed. And you had a good tape of homemade music on there. I would take the little screws and lift up the half of it and take a clear tape and tape them too. And that part would always be messed up, but I had it playing. Man, we went through so much. Y'all don't know how lucky you are, those of you who are younger right now. You got to sew it, downloading and sending stuff and free downloads. Why, exactly, Giant Gate. I'm just saying, don't get it tangled. Oh, I was the master of fixing the tape. I went in even then in a different way with surgical precision. When I opened up a cassette tape that was busted or broken or wound up inside, I'd close. Why you close the windows? I don't want the wind to blow to throw this tape off. When I have it, I use tweezers. I took my time. I got an eye for that, you know? But yeah, the fashion industry, So they come up in this thing. So even if you taught your children, youngsters, the proper way to see life, the proper way to navigate through life, the proper way to carry yourself through life, well, guess what? Peer pressure is at an all-time high. At an all-time high. And not only is it at an all-time high, see, when you went to school back in the day and that bell rang at 3 o'clock, that was it. Unless you got on the phone with one of your friends, and when you were real young, you couldn't hog the phone like that. They didn't have any call waiting. If you were calling somebody and they were on the phone, that's what you heard. Bam, 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 bam. You know how you would get through? You would have to get the operator to cut through. Like, listen, I'm trying to get through this an emergency call, or let them know. And the operator, you talking, all of a sudden you hear, excuse me, we have a call from Mr. Lancescurv. There's someone trying to get through. If you can please hang up and, oh, okay, no problem. Oh, that was the operator. All right, I'll call you back later on. It might be your parents. There was no call waiting. I'm just trying to show you, and those times were more pure. I'm not going to say it's barbaric. I'll say it for the younger folks because they will call it barbaric. Back then was more barbaric, y'all. It was more barbaric. If you were out in the street, and I'm not trying to turn this thing around, but my mental wheels are turning. If you were out in the street, far away somewhere late at night, let's just make this up, and you didn't have a way to get home for some reason, you had to argue with the people who were driving you home that you were hanging out with, and they get out, or you took a leak and they drove off or something. Now you're walking down the street, and now there are no cell phones. Everything is closed. You see a public phone, and now you want to make a phone call. You ain't got no choice. But guess what? That public phone might be busted, not working. Now you got to walk another few blocks. Tell me something. Can you find a public phone for me right now in 2024? I'm quite sure somewhere in the world there might be one, but it's not in New York City, the metropolitan areas. I don't think there's none in Atlanta and Miami and Dallas and Houston, Los Angeles. I don't think so. Times have changed. This has messed with our minds. So when you come home from school, guess what? That's it. You don't see your classmates unless they happen to be one of your neighbors or come by your house and they had to call first. But now, when there's tension building up at school, and I got into this from the peer pressure thing and the materialism with fashion and feeling as though you need to have the latest handbag, dress, skirt, sneakers, whatever. The peer pressure is there because you have social media to continue the conversation far and away from school. So the pressure in the urban areas especially, because you know them other affluent people, them Asians and them Caucasians and them Indians, I'm not putting them above us, but you're not going to spend any money on, you know what I mean? Phone call. Who is it? It's Kamala. Oh, she's still Indian now? Right? But the thing is, they wasn't going for that. But because we had to prove something and lots of our esteem was low, or we lacked in a certain area or felt we had to make up for it in the pressure from seeing this stuff and seeing the videos. See, up in New York City, when you wanted to watch a video, you had, what was it, 3:30 or something? A video music box on channel 31. DJ Ralph McDaniels and the Vid Kid. And it was about an hour, right? I know it wasn't 30 minutes. It had to be about an hour. They'd play videos. Now, we had VCRs where you could tape it. And then you had hot tracks on Friday night. And we would record those bad boys and play it over and over and over on a VHS tape. You got it good now. I mean, we all have it good now. I can think of a song and play it anytime I want. And now there's a feature on YouTube that allows you with the premium account to loop the song over and over or whatever you want to play. So I was washing today and playing some old Fats Domino music. That's what I call balling the jack. I told you I'm weird, y'all. So you don't have to think now. Everything is presented and done for you. AI, the computer searching. You don't hear kids getting together. Oh, we're going to get together this Saturday and we all go to the library this weekend so we can study for that test Monday and do that report. No, no, no. You copy and paste stuff. You know what I mean? I don't even know how the teachers don't get fooled now. I mean, things are so easy. It's pouring down raining and you had to go to the library. You better get a ride there from somebody. You hungry? You had to go to the library, you had diarrhea, but you had to go because that test was Monday. That book report was due. Oh yeah, it was the Stone Age, y'all. In these days, it's so easy because things have been made easier that other things are allowed to permeate into the minds. Imagine, and we're using 911 as a marker, 2001. You watch a child come out 2001, 2002, around that time, and they're over 20 years old now. And a lot of them making babies of their own now. A lot of them might be dating somebody that's older than you, and they were just born the other day. Now, we tolerate certain things now. Well, you know, love has no number and whatnot. But that stuff wasn't going on back in no day. You 18 years old and go out. My boyfriend's 47. Oh, hell no. Your parents wasn't going for that, even if you didn't even live at home. Even if you were 22 and 23 years old, you're going to date a 50-year-old man? Oh, hell no. What's wrong with you? You ain't doing that. They stepped to him. And you a grown adult on paper. It's different times. Mad guns forever. The SCURV here. I'll be back. Yes, the smartphone got rid of many things, and ChatGPT can do your homework for you. Yeah. But like I said, even with GPT and AI, you want to crack that code, it can't tell you your experiences. So you can make a report or write an article, but it cannot tell you what happened with you at 16 years old or 14 years old or whenever you got that first kiss. AI, tell me about the time when I got my first kiss. It's not going to tell you. Now, if it tells you, I'm done. If it can tell you stuff about you that you never told, I'm done. And you know what? Because of the demonic energies infused in this thing, don't be surprised if that day comes where AI can scan your brain and your thoughts and these demonic entities that want to have the human experience. And let me not go too wacko on that. Let me just stay on the subject, right? I want to say I'm going to do all day the conference last Sunday. I don't mean all day, but it'll be open it's open now, right? And I just want to say for those who are new, you can whoa, knocked over my spoon here. You know, I'm lazy today. I know why, but I'm just saying that fork dropped. I should have used a spoon. I used a fork. I had some what's that? The sherbet. I was too lazy to go downstairs to get a spoon. Oh, there's a clean fork right here. But anyway, on Sunday, well, start around maybe 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It'll run for 5 hours and then we'll cut and we'll warn you, and then you have to call back in. But you're not calling. You can be anywhere in the world. You don't have to use your phone. There'll be no static. Just go to Lancescurv.com and you'll see conference line right up under the header. Just tap it and then follow the prompts. There's a video aspect that's there. We're not looking for that. We're just doing audio. Hit the camera icon that pops up. There's a microphone and the camera icon. Click that to block it, but leave the microphone open. If nobody is there, you're not going to hear anybody. Announce yourself when you come in just in case somebody else is quiet, and then we'll be talking. That will allow me to do my chores, do my artwork, set up the shows for the week, and still talk. I might mute myself and lift things and do things, but know that that will be public and put up on the Patreon or the membership. Well, not the membership, because on YouTube, because I don't know if they watch or listen to the stuff you do there and use it against you. I'm definitely going to put it up on the Patreon. For those who support the channel with the membership on YouTube, please, if you can, take it over to Patreon and discontinue the YouTube. I started that thinking I was going to be so perfect and then you're going to take me down again. I don't want that to happen. You never know. So I'm going to discontinue the membership soon by the end of this month and put everything on Patreon. That is what they would call off color, but they can't touch me there. And there'll be a lot of audio there too. And there'll be videos that I take randomly, and just those random videos that I take, which I took some the other day and my camera overheated. I'm walking around holding the camera, my little action camera, and only got like 15 minutes. And I was like, that's not good enough. But tomorrow I'm going to get snags on that footage and put it up on a different video platform and then put it up on Rumble. See, I got on the Patreon. I got to, go through all this, jumping through hoops, because it's pathetic out here in the social media world. It's Sunday, and I'll put up in the community section of YouTube the exact time we will start it, and it's automatic. You can go in there without me, but I'll be there and I'll be hanging out. And whatever you want to talk about, wherever the conversation flows, if you want to use profanity or whatever, let it all out. I know better than that. I might drop a few words, but there's too much intelligence on this platform. Alcohol and tobacco industries. Rap music often glorified excessive drinking and smoking, leading to high consumption of alcohol and tobacco products in Black communities. Of course, old English. I mean, these things were before, but these companies must have loved hip hop. The cigarettes, the alcohol, and designer alcohol, and what was it? Remember back in the day, they tried it. And it grew, but I guess that company folded. It was the early 80s. It was like maybe 85, 84, 85, 86, 87, all in there. Calvin Coolers, for those closet alcoholics that didn't want to drink anything hard, but they wanted to drink something that was acceptable because it was very mild in its alcohol content. And so if you had one of those, nobody would look down and you're like, oh, you drinking? You a wino? You alcoholic? Oh, no, it's a Calvin Cooler. Just, a little buzz. Meanwhile, you got that other little bottle behind the couch that you chuggle along with. When anybody sees you, you grab the Calvin Cooler. I'm not drunk. I'm just sipping. Oh, it's just a Calvin Cooler. But you staggering. Calvin Coolers never made you stagger. Yeah, but out the billboards, the commercials where consuming alcohol was made to seem or make you feel like you were more masculine. And I know this transcends Black culture because, you had Caucasians at the bar long before, and Black folks too. But it was more celebrated when the hip hop came around, the corporate hip hop, gangster rap. That, yeah, man, we're going to go drink tonight, man, and you can't handle it. And of course, you had the Irish drunks and the European drunks and all the different things, the Latino drunks and whatever. I drink you under the table. What kind of thing is that? You can't walk, your penis won't work, and you can't hold back the urine when you're you're pissing yourself. Is that some way that's attractive, especially to the opposite sex? Is that way of proving your manhood, putting your liver at risk? And you know this, and you smoke it, and they got a label on the side. Smoking cigarettes has been proven to cause lung cancer. But we so macho, we going to be holding a cigarette, and we got the liquor. We on the corner sagging our pants because our rapper portrays that. When there are some rappers that don't even indulge in the things that they portray. Some of them are very smart, but have still gone along with the negative stereotypes, which means they're not smart. They might have book sense or, not even book sense, but just that common sense to say, let me get this money, but they compromise their people. And that's not good. The auto industry, with hip hop music promoting luxury cars as a status symbol, the automotive industry saw an increase in sales from young men seeking to emulate their favorite rappers. They would do anything to get that car, anything to get that Benz or that BMW. There's nothing wrong with a Benz or a BMW, but can you afford this? Is this something that you treated yourself to because you you were successful in your area of expertise and you got to that level and it's still just a car for you. But it comforts you in the times where you may have on your mind that deadline you have to reach. You need these luxuries and amenities when you have earned it if you want it. But if you live in your mama's basement or your mama's garage and you don't have a job or a way of generating money other than the illegal means, and most times the young guys who are in the street selling drugs, selling crack, for example, I'm not saying this is a one-size-fits-all statement. You know, half the time when they get locked up, I've known this personally, not from me, I don't do that stuff, but from people I've known. Their girlfriend who works in Walmart, who saved some money with the little money she works in Walmart and taking care of a few kids, has to come and bail your ass out and you out on the street selling drugs. Ain't that something? And you think, oh, they selling drugs, they must be making a whole lot of money. And some do and some don't. And don't you ever notice sometimes you get that one or two drug dealers on the corner, about 15 dudes standing around, look mean mugging, and they ain't making a dime. When the cops hem them up, they all gonna get taken. Drum roll, please. A lot of folks ain't gonna like this one, but it's true. In the 2000s, another agenda began to infiltrate hip-hop. The rise of openly gay rappers and artists sparked controversy and further eroded the masculinity of Black men in the genre. Corporate entities seeking to promote certain social agendas began endorsing artists who normalized homosexuality within the culture. This was part of a broader effort to castrate the Black male image, replacing the strong alpha male persona with one of submission and surrender, as well as spread-eagling. The push for acceptance of homosexuality in hip-hop was seen by many as an attack on the traditional values of masculinity that had once been central to Black culture. Riri, welcome on in. What'd you say, Riri? You laughed hard? What did I say? I said something stupid. When I said spread eagle? No. But ain't that something? They slowly mix this in. Like when you're making a soup and you put the ingredients that cook a little longer first, the potatoes and different things, and then you have the thing that you put last because it might be a vegetable that cooks quicker, a leafy vegetable, right? And in the seasons, you put a little bit and taste it, put a little bit and taste it. And they've been introducing this thing into hip hop, and that was part of the plan from a long time ago. If you ask me, when they took it over, they did it slick. And remember, let's just use 1990 as a cutoff point, right? And we love Ice Cube, but you know that particular type of portrayal, which is real for many people, he was part of it. But he turned it around now because look at him now. And that's what they don't like. They had him up in that. And at some point, he had to make the decision, no, I'm going to turn this thing around. And there are many people who are caught up in that aspect of it who saw him go so-called mainstream. But I think all along, he knew what he was going to do. Let me get mainstream acceptance. Let me be a part of and create some projects that will be deeply embedded in the psyche of America, that they can't take away. So when I finally come with my agenda and speak my words, they can't deny me. You see, sometimes when we get out there fast and people don't really know us, and we come out and we say something, we'll make the headlines, but then we're gone because these people don't play. So I don't look down on anyone who understands the inner circle of that entertainment industry. They're not tap dancing or sellouts. Some are and some aren't, because they're going to use that sword that chops us down and grab it and turn it around and get them once they make the move. So everybody is not supposed to talk and blow their position. You can whisper it in my ear. I'll tell it. I'm far away from America, and I don't depend on them people for nothing. The money looked good, but I would never compromise myself. But those who are in position creatively to have the power and learn the tricks and be able to come out with their own stuff, kudos to you, and I will support you always in walking that thin line, because we need that. This is why they guard it. They don't want you to use the influence that they've afforded you in their world and their promotion with their finances to turn it around on them. They couldn't stand Michael Jackson for that. Fast forward to the day, and hip hop has become something far removed from its origins. Young rappers are being murdered at an alarming rate, not by corporate executives, but by their own peers. The violence, self-hate, and greed promoted in the music are being realized in real life. Rap has become a rhythmic form of genocide, a tool of destruction masked by catchy beats and slick production. The conscious artists who seek to uplift their people are marginalized and given no platform, while rappers promoting violence, misogyny, and decadence are rewarded with wealth and great fame. This isn't a coincidence. It's a deliberate attempt by corporate America to stifle Black progress and perpetuate a cycle of self-destruction. The beats may be sweet, but the message is poison. Hip-hop, once a beacon of hope, has been hijacked and weaponized against the very people who created it. The corporate castration of Black culture through hip-hop is perhaps one of the most sinister and calculated forms of oppression seen in recent history. And history, I feel, will tell that. The only way to reverse this is for Black people to reclaim hip-hop, bring it back to its roots, its purpose, and its power. Until then, it will remain a compromised art form used for profit and control at the expense of an entire generation. Anybody want to hit that link and come on in and have something to say? Trust and Believe is there at the top of the chat room, but I'm also going to drop it in right now. And if not, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Because you know me, I will run my mouth forevermore. Tomorrow will not be an official show because I'm going to leave the weekends open, but I'm going to be creating some things. And if I feel up to it around that time, I'm not so tired because I got housework to do. I got to run down into town, come back out. I got a lot of things to do. Like even now, I made it home just in time. I had to go way down into Accra. And I was coming back on the van. I was like, oh no, it's 8:11. It's 8:25. It's 35 minutes before I go on air and I'm 20 minutes away. But I made it and I'm here. So there will be content tomorrow, but it's always going to be Monday through Friday. Right now at 5 o'clock Eastern time, 5 p.m. And always the content on the weekend. But you know me, I'm going to do something, but I'm going to create some shorter things. 10 or 15 minute things that don't require a show, but it'll be verbal and there'll be visuals and I'll upload them and, put them out there and make it that way. So yeah, put the link inside. If anybody wants to come on in, let me know. It's going to be like an auction, going once, going twice, going 3 times. I'll hang out here for a while and look at the chat room. Yeah. Let me see here. The manhood. We have it in Cali. Oh, my air conditioner clunked out, so it's hot out here. Ain't that something? How, well, up in the mountains here, down around the city, woo, it's got that slave heat going on. And that's because it's in the city and a lot of trees are gone and stuff like that. But up here in the mountains, at night sometimes, it's kind of cool. Let me put some socks on here, But it's nice. It's nice weather year round. The only thing here is you have a rainy season and a dry season. And the dry season, I think, starts around December. Well, for the last week and a half, we haven't had any rain up here. That's kind of, it happens. It happens. I mean, even in the dry season, it may rain 2 or 3 times from December all the way till March. And these plants are used to it because they look like they're gonna die. And the ground gets, unless you have the system to run your water around, which I don't have yet. We don't have yet. When we do that, it'll be good all year round, and you can farm and grow your stuff year round. And there's still certain things that grow whether it's dry or not. That's just the very nature of those particular plants, you know. Landon Price, welcome on in. Oh man, we're about to wrap it up unless somebody kind of taps in on the link. Right now, you're like that person that came to the party when people are walking out the door and they got their little plates of food in the styrofoam plate and the aluminum foil over it, and there's still about 3 or 4 drunk people in the living room floor dancing. Okay, there we go. Giant game. She said, "This ain't gonna end. This ain't over. What has been joined by God?" Welcome on in, Giant Game. Talk to us. Your line is open.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Brother Lamb.
Oh, your background, I can hear the echo. I can hear
Yep,
myself behind you.
I just stopped it.
Oh, okay, cool. Talk to us, sister. We're glad you're here.
So I'm glad to be here. I'm on this side of the dirt. I'm grateful.
Right.
But you mentioning about the deception that goes along with hip hop. I remember hearing an interview, um, and it was by one of the Bone Thugs and Harmony member. I don't remember which
Mm-hmm.
one, but he was
Mm-hmm.
reading about a letter that
Mm-hmm.
someone had stated that they gathered a bunch of artists in someone's rich land of estate, and they presented them with the opportunity to create this quote unquote gangster rap music,
Mm-hmm.
and they offered them, a lot of money and perks and things like that. But
Right.
the story behind it was what they needed was for them to flood the um, the hood with this music to
Mm-hmm.
produce the mentality for them to
Mm-hmm.
go out and, again, like you said, rappers out here with this flashing this money, this jewelry, these cars. Generally, men do this,
Mm-hmm.
or the male species do this to impress the female species, and by any
Right.
means necessary, they're gonna go and
Mm-hmm.
do it. And so
Right.
when you're feeding this narrative, when you're feeding this, negative energy into the youth, okay, they go out and they do it, and the purpose of it was we have these people who have paid into these um, uh, jails, these jails, privatized jails, and we need to
Yes.
fill them. And you get a
Mm-hmm.
kickback as we fill them. You get a percentage. So it's like you have, um, uh, like a stock market. You invest in this, you get this percentage out of it. But this is
Yes,
what we
indeed.
need you guys to do to kick it off.
Wow.
And
You see,
I
it's so
remember
deep.
one of the
Go ahead.
it
Go
is
ahead.
it's very deep. It is very sinister. And I remember a rapper making a comment that in the letter, and I feel like I know who the rapper was that wrote the letter, but he made the
Mm-hmm.
statement that he felt bad because he was a part of it, and it was at a section where some of them was like, no, I'm not doing it, I'm not for it, and so they were escorted off of the property, and it was
Wow.
very secluded. They couldn't come in their own vehicles. They was picked up and delivered, and if
Wow.
you didn't want to be a part of it, you're escorted off the premises. And the guy, as he was talking about it in the letter, was saying that he felt kind of awkward because everybody's coming. You look like you got record executives. They're suited and booted. They coming in there, their drip, their style. But then you got these big cock diesel dudes that's at the door, like bouncers.
Uh-huh.
Like, what is this
Uh-huh.
about? That's a red flag already.
That's right.
But you
You already
have
know.
you have these, and they know that you have these impressionable young minds that if we sell it this way, they're gonna bite hook, line, and sinker. And now we got our next set of jailmates, cellmates coming in to fund these privatized prisons and to get the labor that we need to get done, like assembling cell phone parts to the cell phone. We're getting this labor on top of we got this, and it is what it is because in the hood
Mm.
it is black and brown people. So we're gonna get these prisons filled with them. We're gonna get this labor done, and it's gonna be thanks to our own kind who's feeding this. Because when I remember growing up, when it was fight the power, and
Yes.
don't MC Light coming in. Why you coming in the club with a razor blade scotch taped to your collar? What's that all
Right.
about? Leave the guns and
Right.
the cracks and the knives alone. And it became
MC Light on the
no,
microphone. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. And it became no. Pop this pill, pop that pill, pop this pistol, and it's like, wait, what? What happened? What?
And
When
popping
did?
something else too.
Yes, yes. Like ain't no more, uh let me take you out, or I
Right.
feel like I want to date you. Even I
Right.
can't even think of his name, but you know who? So what? You got a man? Like that was bold right there for us.
Right.
I got a
Right.
man.
Right.
What that
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
do
I
with
got a
me?
man. I got a man. Exactly. I remember that one. I got a man.
Yeah, so I mean it has turned. I remember even telling my daughter, uh I can't even think of the artist name, but the song, and he's like in his mind, he's in his room. I what is it?
LL
I
Cool
see
J.
shadows and
When I'm
no, no,
alone in
this
my
is
room. Oh.
oh yeah, 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 no. But I mean like recently, and
Oh.
my
Okay.
daughter was listening to this song, and he's saying I see shadows in my room. Can't take back the love that I gave you. And he want to kill himself or something like that. And then the one
Right.
song where the girl is like, I'm gonna kill my ex. I'd rather be in jail than to be alone. And it's like, and I when I'm listening to the song because we're in a car, and I'm like, cut this shit off. We're not doing that. Like what? She's
Right.
like, Mom, that's the jam. I said, are you listening to the lyrics? Because you jamming to the beat. But while you're
Right.
jamming to the beat, those lyrics are filtrating into your mind. It's your ear gate
Yeah.
that is being flooded, and you don't even realize it because you're shaking your hips to the beat.
Right.
It's like I cut that off so quick. I'm like, nah, I bust out some gospel music on your ass first. Don't do that. Don't do that. No, no, we're not doing that. But it's crazy that that's what it is.
You're so right. I mean, even to explain that phenomenon, if I would fall asleep with the TV on, which is a very dangerous thing to do. But the times that I did, I might have came home from driving the bus all day, and Mrs. Scurv got in from work a little earlier than me, and I went and got a little plate. She's already laying down, and the only thing she watches is HGTV and stuff with gardening and plants
Yeah.
or culinary stuff, cooking shows. That's it. So I may go in there and lay down next to her. She's half asleep, and then I change the channel. Maybe there's some boxing or some kind of sports or something on, which I filter that also. I don't let that get into my mind that way also. But I fall asleep, and the next day I'm humming some jingle for some restaurant. I'm like,
Yeah.
over and over. They know what they're doing. And that's why it's popular already. People know it. But really, when they're telling you, TV programming.
Yes,
Programming.
it's
They program
programming.
your mind. And I mean, I remember years ago, and it had to be in the early 2000s. I'm not going to say all the lyrics, but when I say the first bit of it, you'll remember. My neck, my back.
Mhm. My yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
my
and they were 6 years old. Kids out there, 6 or 7 years old, whining and
yes,
saying it.
yes,
They were saying it and giggling.
yes, yep.
Programmed.
I'm gonna tell
You
you
see what I mean?
something. I remember my mom. She was very peculiar. Like I can
Hmm.
count on one hand how many people she allowed in into the house.
Right.
But she would have a couple friends over, and she would allow me to sing this song just because I was the kid that no matter what they played, I could pick up the lyrics. Like if I heard it twice, I know all the lyrics, and so I would sing it. And even just no matter what it was, how old it was, I would sing it. Didn't necessarily know the meaning, but I could tell you
Right.
what it said. So it was a song, and I can't think of the artist name, but the song was "Ain't That a Bitch?" Somebody
Yep.
doing something slick. So I was caught singing it, and my mama said, "What you say?" And I'm like, "Mommy, that's what he said." And she corrected me, but she was tickled. So when her friends
Right.
was over, she was like, she'll call me over and she'll be like, "Come sing this song for mommy." And I'm like, "But mommy, he said a bad word." She said, "I'll let you say it this time." So my little chubby self sitting up there dancing and performing for her friends. And I felt so empowered because I got to say that word
Permission.
in
Yeah,
front of all these
exactly.
grown folks.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
it wasn't something that was so outrageous and so diabolical in what it was saying. But just because it's a child saying it, it made it hilarious. But you
Right.
can't do that with music now. You hear a little
Mhm.
girl singing, you know, about my knees. No, sweetie, no, you
Mhm.
don't want to sing about your knees, how strong your knees are. You're not a
Oh my God.
carpenter. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't
Uh-huh.
even make fun with that
Right. Right. Accept it, don't accept it on any level because see now
on any level.
they're so advanced now. They don't even have to try to sneak around and listen to grown folks' conversation. As soon as they get the smartphone and their other friends around, they can send each other links and they know exactly what's going on. There is no mystery. And like I said it before in other shows, when I was driving the bus, there were girls that were 13 or 14 years old, um, detailing their expertise with performing certain acts. And their boyfriends who were almost over 40 most of the time. And these are 13-year olds,
Mhm.
13, 14-year olds with little Catholic school dresses and, private school, good schools. I'm not saying because it's Catholic, I'm saying the other ones, right? And
Right.
their mothers would beat them. They would have a bus pass, but if they missed or had a function to go to, they wouldn't take the school bus, but they would take that bus and they'll be waiting for them there, and they would get off and play the little kiddie role. Mommy, hi, mommy. Yeah, but you were talking about performing
Uh
earlier.
huh.
And they tell him,
And
I'm gonna
see,
show you this video. I'm gonna show you this video because I'm gonna show you how she was doing it and talking about how the
we
girl.
can't even
Hmm.
correct a child like that because the backlash we would get not just from the child but from the parent also. I can
Right.
remember my daughter was in the mall, and a coworker of mine who also works a second job in the mall. She was like, I don't know how to come and tell you, but I said just say it. And she was like, your youngest daughter. She was like, I heard her in the mall, and she was, speaking a language I know that you don't allow. I was like, well,
Right.
what did she say? And she told me what she said. So
Ooh.
I came home that evening. I said, so what was your trip like at the mall? She was like, huh? I
Mm.
said, what was your trip like? She was like, oh, it was so and so, and we just went. We picked up her thing from the iPlace and da 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 da. Oh, okay. I said, and what was your conversation like? Huh? I said, okay, let's break to the chase. Someone I know that know you heard you speaking in a way you know I don't allow.
Right.
I was like, what did you say? The lady already told me what my daughter said. So she was like, I don't know, what did I say? I said, you better figure it out, and you got 10 seconds to remember what you said. She was like, I don't remember what I said, but I said, so you are cursing, huh? I said, let me explain something to you. I'm old school, true school.
Hmm.
I was like, I said, you don't know who I know. You don't know everybody I know. But there's always somebody watching out. Why? Because that's my energy. So it just comes back to me that way.
That's
I was
right.
like, I said, I don't ever want to get a report of you behaving like that in public because you're a representation of me.
That's right.
So you better correct yourself and check yourself. If who you around is acting like that, then you're going to need to figure out, I don't need to be in public with them. I need to separate myself with them because you are categorized by association. And she said you specifically was cursing. So if you was cursing or your friends was cursing and you was with them, I'm gonna put my money on the fact that you was doing it too. I'm gonna take her
Hmm.
word over yours because
That's
I've been
right.
a teenager myself, so I understand. But back then, we respected our elders. You in
That's
public.
right.
I'm never the one to say what my child will and won't do because I've been a child. I know. If my mama knew the things that I said, the things that I done, I'd be dead
Hmm.
today. You know, so I'm never gonna be that parent that, oh, my child wants this and that. I'm not gonna advocate for you acting a fool, period. But especially in public. So my mama's slogan was, "Where you clown is where we get down," and she meant that.
Mm.
So we didn't clown. We didn't want to get down with her. She was
Mm.
crazy. But
I tell you something.
but that fear factor. And
Right. Right. And there's
I'm
certain
I'm
things.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. There's certain things we don't like. Even when we dip and say words or do little things, you don't want your mother, your father, whoever raising you finding out, and you know they know what you were doing. And this is a little off topic, and I'm gonna answer that question, Tracy J, in the chat and on the screen right there. But I remember I was 17 years old, and this lady was like 30. And I had the muscles and everything, so I was her little
Mhm.
secret boy toy. So we were playing around with the Polaroid camera. I'm just gonna say just that. And she let me take some of the pictures with me. I had them. I ain't gonna lie. And one or two close friends, look what I was doing. But I had them
Mhm.
stashed. And so in the basement, at that point in my life, that was my domain, the basement. Had a finished basement, nice, everything hooked up, side door, everything, bathroom. So I had them pictures in a album cover, but one of those giant 45s where they had the long version of a disco
Yeah.
song. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was some of
Had
the
them in the
plastic was
jacket
still on it.
cover.
Exactly,
Yep.
exactly. So I stuck it in there, and we didn't drink, but it was the fashion. I mean, my folks, my family didn't drink, but it was the fashion of the day that when you had a finished basement in New York City, you had a bar. That was just something that you had put in,
That
right?
that was that has to be a cultural thing because we had a bar. My aunt
Right,
had a
right,
bar. It was a cultural thing, I believe.
right. And you know what? I need to find a little spot in here, and I'm gonna put a little bar. I don't drink, but it's just something that
Yep.
makes a space feel more. You know what I mean? If you have a party or something, I'm gonna put a bar in my studio. That's what I'm gonna do. Now I know
I'm gonna send
exactly
you a
what
picture of what I did. You're gonna laugh.
I'm gonna put a bar there. We'll be drinking some grape juice and so. No, and you did have most people had wine or some kind of liquor. I'm not saying I'm gonna have that, but they had it, and it was a thing when guests came over. Okay, you break out because them bottles were collecting dust if you had it like that.
Yep.
So on the shelf under the bar, there's a couple album covers, and I had some albums in the milk crates and all that stuff. But I stuck them pictures in there, Nobody came down there. I was the only
Mm-hmm.
person other than my parents living in that house, except for the top part that we rented out. So I thought I was good. So life was going on as normal. And I didn't look at those pictures for like 2 weeks. And my mother and my father acted normal. And so we were laughing and talking upstairs, and we had dinner together and nice times and nice conversations. And I went downstairs and I just wanted to take a peek at them pictures, even though in that 2 week period I was dipping and visiting that lady. So
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the album cover. It was gone. It wasn't inside. I said, let me check on the floor. Maybe it dropped. Maybe I kicked it over. Maybe I put it in another one. And I tore the whole basement up looking. And mothers have a sixth sense of how things go. Well, when I went upstairs in a panic, but I wasn't going to say anything, Mother, did you see Polaroid pictures of your son? When I got to the top step, there they were. She just put them there. She was the only one in the house. I kindly took the pictures. I went downstairs and put on the clothes I needed to put on. And I left the house and didn't come back for 3 days. I was so embarrassed. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed.
My mama used
She
to
wasn't
say,
mad.
what don't come out in the wash, gonna come out in the rinse.
Right, right. But what could she do? I mean, she couldn't she's like be angry, like, oh my God. But she raised me a certain way, and she had a style of parenting that was so cool but effective. And
Yes.
she sung and she had a great voice. When I came back home, she knew. And then she had
Because
the
the
raised
the
eyebrow.
embarrassment was the punishment. It was the
That was the
punishment enough.
punishment. And she's, how are you, son? With her eyebrow raised and humming in victory. And the humming sound good. And
Mm-hmm.
she just looking at me. I couldn't look at her back.
Like that walk of shame. Don't nobody want to take that
But
walk.
but you have young girls who are 12 and 13 who don't have that shame. And here
Don't
I
have
am,
that
a man
level of
child,
self-respect.
yeah, 17 years old, competing in bodybuilding shows, girlfriends here and there, whatever. I didn't want that out. But here's Tracy
Exactly.
J. She left a question, and I left it up on the screen. Question for the panel or chat. What's up with these rappers coloring their hair a blonde color? Is this a new ritual? What does it mean? It gives me gay vibes. Well, in this particular time in history, yeah, I would say so. It's almost like a way of a man focusing on his hair to influence the culture. Now, I will say, back in the day, there's a picture somewhere, I'm going to put it up. I had Jerry curls, but mine were cut. They were still Jerry curls. It was a fad, Michael Jackson and all of this, and I'm bodybuilding, I'm on stage, I was a performer. So to be different, I had put a streak in my hair of a lighter brown, right?
Mm.
But that's all I did, and I cut it out and didn't do it no more. But these guys putting blonde and streaks and this and that, to me, it goes deeper than just the gay thing. It's that too. But if you can kill off our natural antennas or spiritual antennas, the things that we receive signals on. Now, I'm going to try to remember who said this, because I scroll through TikTok sometimes on certain righteous pages and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. And people send me things. I can't tell you where I got this from, because I'm never one to try to take credit for what somebody else shares. But this is what I heard someone on a program intelligently explain. And if in the future or now you find that person, because remember, I'm not trying to not give them credit. I consume a tremendous amount of content when I'm setting up shows, when I'm doing technical things and stuff. And if it's not good stuff, I don't listen to it. But here it is. They said, this person said, it was a black man. He said that when you wear your hair, especially in locks, and you let it grow, tracking systems that they have, this GPS thing and whatever it is that they have out there that we're not hip to, we become invisible. They can't see us. It scrambles something, the energy that comes through our hair. When left alone, letting it grow out, of course, we want to twist it up and let it lock up evenly. But you know, some of these dudes from the Caribbean and some of the real rosters that don't care, it'll look like a daggone wallet hanging out of there. You know what I mean? A big chunk here and a little piece here. Just let it grow. Let it
Just let it
lock.
grow.
But
Yeah,
when it's like
that's
that,
what locking is.
yeah. But when it's like
And
that,
it's not called dreadlocks. It's called
right,
locks.
right, the dread part, right. There's nothing to dread.
No.
But that is something that has far-reaching positive implications for us and the very texture of our hair that stands up as opposed to falling down. Now, yeah, when you have the heavier locks,
Defying gravity.
right, right, reaching up to the sun, the texture, you see? So there's more to it than meets the eye, and they know why. This is why they fight it so much in schools. The young kids, they don't want them to have that. See, we can't have nothing unique unto ourselves. Like when we started out this program, and I said that, like, that's an advantage. It's a natural advantage, and they don't want us to have it until they replicate it. And even when you have these white guys that try to lock up their hair and try to, you know, they rocking the Bob Marley, and then all of a sudden they just want to be, you know, because it's a fad for them. It ain't working for them. It ain't meant for
Okay.
you, brother. It ain't meant for
You
you.
look. It looked like a web, like a spider just went loose in their head.
A nest.
A nest. Like, oh. And it's funny because they have taught us, especially us as melanated women, as they put it under the umbrella of protective styles to cover up our hair. We
Right.
we we braid our hair down. We now got a net over it. Now we got some glue to it and some stick me ons and some
Mm.
pull and it won't move. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, as an everyday person, what that's also preventing you from doing is grooming yourself.
Right.
You're
Right.
not taking care of your halo.
Let me tell you
Now, if
something.
you was an actress or an actor and you did protect the styles because you have to look a certain way, I get that.
Right.
But for the general individual, 9 to 5er, and no, no.
Mm. Man, guns in the house. I see you. But yeah, every day, more so now, because I'm always trying to get a lot of things done. But even today, when I woke up and I copied my notes and got ready for the show, because I like to do that early and then leave out and then come back. I have a private balcony on the other side. I went out there, laid back in my recliner chair, and I just took everything off. And I laid, the sun was powerful.
I told
And if
you.
I, yep, if I told you, not you, I would say, if I said to a stranger and I'm mad at him and say, and I'm not usually talking like this, but kiss where the sun don't shine, I'd be lying because the
You
sun
be
knows me very
lying.
well. Yeah. Whatever you got to move to the side or lift up, let's let the sun get in it. And listen, I
So
will.
now you can say kiss all my sunshine.
Exactly. And I'll tell you one thing. I'm glad that the sun ain't gay. because the sun would have came down and jumped on me with what they saw, what the sun saw. That's my way of saying something without saying it. But I think it's very healthy. Some people go out, and I mean, they may not have privacy or whatever. Why we're not in the sun today? But you were wearing a turtleneck with jeans. What you talk about? And you were under an umbrella. It's like a satellite dish. You want to get as much coverage as you possibly can. You know what I mean? And even if I wake up 2 hours or so earlier and the sun's up, I'll get the rest of my sleep out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The downloads that you get from that, oh my word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I can feel it.
That's unbeatable, brother. That's unbeatable.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't trade that for nothing in the world.
And then when you go walk down under the plants, under the trees, under the plants, and it's quiet. Oh, you may hear someone next door or something make a little noise or something. And it's not no close up next door business. It's just, but it's up on the mountain.
Off in the distance.
Yeah. Unnoticeable, right? And you just drink in that feel, that vibration of being amongst the fruit trees and the plants. And, of course, someone's going to try to bite you. So you don't want to, this is Africa. You don't want to walk out there barefoot like that where you can't see. But for the most part, it's like it's filling you up in ways that, and I'm not ragging on America, but, I couldn't get that even if I was in the bigger cities here in Ghana. Although the overall vibration is not like New York City, the feeling of danger, the feeling of this and that, the peace and tranquility.
It's unmatched.
To the point where the creative thoughts that come to me, they're so, I'm like, where's this coming from?
And
where's this coming from?
You can find a little spot where there's a tree, and just in that area, walk to that area, take off your shoes, and then walk on the grass right around in that area because you can see.
Right. Because you got fire ants, and I mean, those are not really a problem. But what I will say is that the ants up here in this mountain, and I would say all over Africa, they ain't bums. They on a serious mission, because they will line up 5 deep, 6 deep, 8 deep. I mean, in formation in 8 rows close to each other. If you were to take a tape measure and measure from one side to that one row on the left to the one row on the right, it remains equidistant. They're not bumping into each other. They're not spreading out. I mean, I watch this, and they go far. They will go maybe through your yard, up next to your house, cross over, and they may have to go up under my driveway gate now because they got the wall around, and they continue way down the road. And times I've walked out, I'm like, what? These things are traveling across the mountain.
Make you start singing the ants go marching one by one.
For real. But not to get off topic really a lot, but we're talking about our connectedness to nature, and this stuff done with our hair is bringing a different energy to us, especially with the weaves that we know, the Indian women's hair that they cut off and often the dead women. Leave that stuff alone, y'all. But I've
seen a clip. I don't know where I seen it from, where the lady was like, we cut off our hair, it's dead. Why would you want to put dead hair on you?
And you're picking up that vibration. You're picking up that vibration. There's something about that, and you're putting it on your head where your brain is. Nah. But I really wonder about nature. I don't mean I wonder about it like I question like it's something negative. No. When I say I wonder about it, I wonder even beyond what I see. Because I said it before in one show, and I'll say it in a very simple way that may make me seem like a quack. But the ants and the plants actually work together.
Nature as a whole works together.
Yeah. This was one of those things that pop up when you look at Google and they suggest articles and stuff. And I'm really into a lot of science stuff. I'm still really, I'm a nerd, but people don't know that. They see my tougher exterior.
You're like me, extroverted, extroverted introvert.
Yeah. I'm an extroverted introvert. I could do well locked up doing my stuff in my room and go out and be the life of the party. I've always been that way. So, I found out that plants that need that there was a certain type of leaf that would give the ants some substance from its leaf that the ants needed, but the plant needed something in the soil for it to thrive. And they communicated, and the ants went to get this other plant and the substance in it and bring it back to this other fungus or whatever it was. How is
Mm,
that? But that's amazing. That's
that's
amazing.
that's science in real time.
Now, here's another one now. The very leaf that the ants they didn't take a whole leaf. They would bite off a part of it and carry it because, ants are like so strong pound for pound. So when that particular plant that was being ambushed for the other mushroom or fungus, it would shoot out a chemical, a substance from within that made it where the ant couldn't chew into it anymore. So it was a defensive thing. So, I mean, we
Mm,
got so much stuff going on around us, even in nature, that we step over, that we're not aware of. And so now let's look at our bodies, the sun in relation to
exactly.
us, each other in relation to us, our energy, our food that we put in, the thoughts we think, the places that we're put in the inner cities that are not natural, that we're supposed to get out of. Like these days, even more so. I mean, I could deal with America. I've dealt with it all my life. I've mastered it. But why should I have to master it and come out of who I am naturally? Why should I have to take the energy to put up the defenses to have to offset the oppressive forces that are coming at me? Where can I go to symbolically let my hair down, drop my guard? And so now,
Exactly.
since I'm away from that, I wake up with even more enthusiasm.
And it's
And
a
I don't,
process that you have to learn. You have to unlearn the US way to now relearn or learn your natural habitat way.
yes, yes, yes,
Our bodies is it's going to sink and it's going to manifest the way it needs to in our whatever habitat we're in. It will
right,
adapt. It will
right.
adapt.
That's right.
And so now, but and here's the thing, as you was mentioning yesterday with the show, it isn't we can ask these politicians questions and what they're going to do for us, but it shouldn't even have to be what you're going to do for us because why is this considered the norm? The way that we
Right,
are treated in this world should not be
right,
normalized. Why is it not being unnormalized? It's the end thing to, yeah, okay, we know this is how they're going to be treated because they've always been treated this way. When will somebody say they're human? And why are we allowing this? How do we write laws in place to exclude them? Just them. When will whoever becomes whatever politician, president, senator, whatever, because the presidents they are yes people. They have to go with what the bottom of the chain is saying that needs to happen before they can say, okay, this is what we need to do. So it's a
yes,
lot of other electives that we can go after about school reform and the police and things like that that's local that we need to deal with because they are the ones that say, okay, yes, we will allow the police to continue to do what they're doing in this neighborhood. No, that's where we need to fight. The president can't control that. But in the fact of it all, it is like, why are you allowing this to be normal for a group of people, a race of people? Why? Why are you allowing this to be normal?
that's right. And if we were to really have everything laid out on the table, I know it's going to be much deeper than we thought, and it would push the limits of what we can comprehend. And we would see these demons for who they really are. And most of us would pass out if we really knew.
Man, that's mad crazy. It's mad crazy. You speaking about the castration? I don't know where I got the information from, but I was looking up because I'm I don't drink, I don't smoke. And so I was trying to just educate myself on the things that my children were coming up into that I wasn't aware about, and all these different terms for marijuana. And so I'm just, trying to stay afloat of the lingo. And
Right.
I got deep into this rabbit hole of how things are produced, and the names and the chemicals, and what these chemicals are doing, and how these chemicals that they are adding into um these marijuana plants and things like that, that's causing uh a overload of estrogen and causing men to get boobs and things like this. And I'm just like, it's a scientific whole world of a whole nother language. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting up here and I'm just like, but I came across an article where it was talking about, um, I guess, like how it became illegal, because it was not illegal before, and what made them make it illegal. And it was a subpar article underneath another article that was saying that the powers to be that made it illegal because they saw, um, they was calling them Negroes in this article, Negro artists, jazz artists,
Mm-hmm.
um, that their cry into their jazz music was because of the injustice that was going on, which is still going on today. But
Right.
that was their relaxation, because a lot of them didn't drink. A lot of them didn't drink, and this was one of the ways that they were to relax. And because they
That makes
seen
sense.
that the way that they performed afterwards, like the in tune into their music, and the way that
Mm-hmm.
they was living their music through their body language when they was
Mm-hmm.
playing, made them made them not want to have it. So they made it illegal. They passed whatever they needed to pass to make it illegal.
Mm. Interesting.
I can't find that article to save my life, because I wanted to look up you know, who was by, and to search into it. But I can see that we find ways to cope with everything that we're put through, even being put
Creatively.
into the
Yes.
projects. We are now towered on top of each other, or crammed into an area, and instead of us fighting each other and becoming miserable, we became all family and made it a whole block club party. And so we barbecued, we played music, we made up games to play. You know,
Right.
this is what we do. We will get through it. It's innately in us to be able to get through it. And so every time we find a way to step up from you stumping us down, now you got to recreate and make something even bigger and powerful, more powerful, to keep us down. And we climb up out of that and we keep going. If people can't see, being melanated, how resilient we are, like, that's something we, within ourselves, we have to take accountability for. We have
Yes.
come up through too much to be still the last place. We got to get it together. You hear this music? No, you not playing that music in my house. And if I catch you with that music, I'm beating your tail, because this music
Mm-hmm.
is meant to put you down. This music is meant to send you the wrong way. Play something that's going to edify you. Play something that's going to build you up. Just like when you box or when you work out, you put music on to stimulate that so you can get through it and power through it.
That's right.
Stop listening to this Debbie Downer drug myself, kill myself type music. Cause now you're about to get KO'd by your parent because you around here acting like a buffoon.
So true.
Man, crazy, but great show, brother. I just had to tap in and say, and by the way, you talking about the tape? Let me tell you, I have over 300 cassette tapes in storage right now to this
Wow.
day. I have over 300.
Wow. You know you're gonna have
I
to
kept them.
transfer it over to digital.
You
Keep the
know
tapes.
what? I'm so afraid that when I get to it, what it's going because it's been in storage. It's been in storage at least 21 years.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's in storage. It's shrink wrapped, bubble wrapped, and then boxed. So I kept them real reserved, and they're in these little drawers. But that used to be the thing to try and get a recording when the DJ go to hit play, and everybody
Right.
got to be quiet. But you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
because it
when
was through the air.
the
I used to put, yeah, I used to take that different companies made it, but it was mostly Panasonic, and it was rectangular shaped, and it had the little buttons on the front to play, and you push record and play, and it records, right? You just
yes,
couldn't push
yep,
record. You had rewind,
you had
fast
to press
forward,
them at the same
eject,
time. Yes.
right? And I would get the commentary from the boxing matches, Muhammad Ali fights and Howard Cosell, and I'd put it back to the back of the TV. And when my niece was over, she lived with us for a couple of years. When she was a baby, she had cried. Mommy, take her to the other side of the house. I'm recording. And so I'm listening to the thing later on. I'm like, oh man, you messed it up.
That's
But
done with. But
that's right.
don't let it
And it was,
break, because like you said, man,
you
I used
lose
to
it.
use an Exacto knife.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
Put the
got
two
one.
piece,
I got three right now. Mm-hmm.
put the tape down, put the little two pieces together, and then put a tape over it because I didn't want to wrap it. I didn't
Yep.
want it to get thick and catch again. And use the
Right.
Exacto knife to cut down the side. Man, yes,
So we were
we're
channeling
not
the
losing
same
the
thought.
whole tape. We're not losing a whole cassette for that. No.
Oh no. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. And just think, there were certain things that were recorded that way through the air that somehow, some way that other media didn't preserve. It's
No,
just not like that.
no.
And so this is why I say we have to preserve what we have and get more books, because these enemies of ours, they will scrub the internet of what they don't want to have out there.
Mhm.
And look what happened to my Memorandum 46 post. That when they got in there, they made a draft, and I couldn't find it. I was like, wait a second, I know I put this thing together. It's there now, but they're sneaky like that. They don't want
Yep.
certain information. They have to meddle in our business, meddle in our creative affairs, meddle in our energy, meddle in our life, meddle in our manhood or womanhood. They don't want it natural. They must mess with it because we are nature. The creator is the
Hard.
closest manifestation in nature that we can see. If we couldn't read this book or that book, just go out in nature. You'll learn divine things, and
You'll
you'll
learn.
download them properly. You see what I mean?
When you are the
And we are
first,
nature.
anything
We
that comes
absorb it.
after is a carbon copy. It's a copy. When you are the first, that means you create. All you know to do is create when you are the first.
That's right.
You have nothing else to follow.
Wow. Beautifully said. It's always a pleasure, and we gotta get you on
It's
here
an
more
honor
often.
for me, brother, always to talk with you.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Thank you. I I don't know how to sometimes take. No, I accept the compliment. It's nothing weird. I accept it wholeheartedly. But to me, I'm just little old me, and I'm not fishing for compliments. I'm just saying, to me, I'm just that dude that likes to do what I do. I don't know. See, it's like that beautiful woman in a town where there are no mirrors and she's blind. So people say, "Oh,
Mhm.
you're so beautiful." She can't. I mean, not that she can't see it, but she's not allowed to see it. So whatever I am, whatever you appreciate, I thank you for it. I just want to get better, and I just love what I do. You know, and
Hey,
if I didn't love what I do when they took the other channel down almost 6,000 videos, if I was a like one of the enemies would have jumped off a bridge. I'm like, "Shit, ain't stopping me because I'm gonna continue going on. I love what I do."
right. If it
You
wasn't
know what I
in your heart to do, you would have been like, oh damn, I lost all. I'm not starting over. Forget this. This is
mean? Right.
whatever. Oh,
And so
it was history.
yeah, so the people that are giggling, laughing, they're like, "Oh my God, look at him, he's coming back." I never left.
Right, right. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for
Mhm.
years.
Right, 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 right. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm gonna upload more. Right?
Right.
Don't get me started. Because you know that's my accent, Southside Queens.
Yes, yes.
Mhm. That's my same
But
DNA.
and that that's why you still have like even the people that are slowly coming to this channel and some of the familiar names that I remember, they come back because it's not all this. Everybody's not about this sensationalism.
Mm-mm.
I'm not about the sensationalism. I don't need to
Mhm.
know who slept with who. I don't need to know who got married and who
I
shot John
know.
and all that, you know. But if I can, because it's not a lot of people that you could just sit and have a conversation with. That nostalgia don't exist
Right,
anymore.
right, right.
Because this
But
is
you know
what
what
we used
though?
to do growing up. Growing up, even as teenagers, we in
Yeah.
my neighborhood we had a flower pot, a big flower pot that sat in front of our window. And
Hmm.
in other yards, they had these concrete like logs, like benches in
Right,
between the yards. So, or
right.
we would go and sit out on the cars, on the trunk of the cars, and we would
You're right.
congregate and just talk and just shoot the
Who you
shit with
telling?
each other and just having fun. Ain't bothering nobody. Ain't not looking to
Right,
be the most
right.
popular. None of that. It was just us vibing with each other. What happened today with you is so and so, so and so. Did you see what her mama went outside looking like? Like this is what we did.
Right,
And
right. That's the
to
culture.
now you got kids. Not that bullying didn't happen back then, but it
Right, but not
wasn't
to this
to the
degree.
magnitude that it is now.
Exactly.
Like, oh my God, you got kids wanting to kill themselves because somebody said they was ugly, and they
Mm.
spreaded it across a worldwide web. And so now to that
No.
person who was struggling to begin with, feel like the whole world hates them, and now they want to off themselves
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
of the spread of the internet and the
The
fuckery
magnitude.
that
Yeah,
go on. It's
yeah.
crazy. I'm sorry about my language, but
No, 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 no. It's
it, it
okay.
it's crazy because now they isolated. One, they already feel insignificant or no self-esteem, but now to know how the internet works and everybody can see it, or you think everybody can see it. A million views, a million likes, a million comments to one somebody said about another person to demean them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you couldn't get 10 people in a neighborhood to talk about one person, and now you can get millions and people that don't even know you,
I
and
know.
they can cause
And take
somebody to
sides,
take
not
their
even knowing
lives.
you.
Right. It's crazy. It's crazy. We don't have that connectivity anymore. We don't have that vibe with one another anymore. And this, for me, I don't know about anybody else, and I'm only speaking about me, but this is a place because of the conversations that you've put out there that I know at times I could say, oh, damn, I ain't the only one going through. And then listening to some of the comments that your chat has posted, and then gives you a second thought into something else or another way to think about something else. I've gotten that from this channel. If this is entertainment, then I'm
Yes.
fine with that, because the stuff that's on TV it will make me want to unalive myself sometimes. Like, it's just crazy. It's really crazy. I'd rather have like-minded people sharing their thoughts, whether we agree with one another, like I said, whether we agree or don't, or we side the same way or not. It's not meant to be that way. We don't all have to side with each other, but we all have that like-mindedness, and we're on that level of higher elevation to move onward and upward.
Yes.
Period. That's
Yeah.
my commune. That's what I'm, because it's a world of isolation. I'm not gonna isolate myself. If me being able to speak to somebody through a process like this, and it keeps me feeling like I'm connected with humans, I'm good with that. I'm okay with that.
That's right.
I'm not gonna isolate myself, if unless that's the move, and I have to, then that's a different story. But I get to commune with somebody that's got freaking sense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's
you're
right.
not talking nonsense. The things that you speak about, it's real life happening. It's worldly life happening. And we get to see it on both sides, because you can connect us here in the States to what's going on there. And we get to
Indeed.
see for ourselves real time with someone that's genuine and willing to share that and not lie. You know how many people doing this
Exactly.
and they lying, taking people's money?
Oh
Man,
man. Oh man. And that video was gone that I did about that individual who I rode with him on a van and went up to a part before Cape Coastal Way, and they were showing land and stuff, and people trust me, and they say, okay, if he's down with land, I can trust this guy. And then I started to get phone calls. It was a 6-hour video. Most of it was the van ride, having fun, and I took everybody through the whole thing. I said, let's just get into this from the beginning, or whatever. But he used me, and that happens a lot back in the day, where I was just so enthusiastic to see anyone trying to do something worthwhile for us and with their businesses, whatever. I
and
never
that's because
charged
you had a
anybody.
good heart. That's because you had a good heart, and you generally wanted to help people, your kind of people. You generally wanted to help. And sometimes, being that type of person, you get bit, but then you know what? I hear that buzzing. I'm not going to get stung again. So let me say no
Right.
to this one.
But the trick is not to recoil so much where you lose that quality. What
Yes.
that will prevent you from continuing on what you're supposed to do, just with a little more caution. You see,
Yep.
so
You just do it with a little more caution. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, that's all.
Absolutely.
Right. I'm gonna continue
Yep.
to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna continue to do that. And when I ordered a camera that every few years I do, my camcorders are on their way out. Some need repairs. I have 2 good ones that need repair, but it's going to be too much for what it gives me. So now
Hmm.
I already ordered it. It's going to come in a few weeks because I'm out here. And when it gets here, oh man, that is the whole photographic world is going crazy over it. Not the ones who have cameras that are so expensive, because this is not like $1 million, but it ain't cheap either. And I had to
Right.
sacrifice
Right.
for that. And I'm
And
so happy with what it
it's
does.
a new gadget. It's a new gadget for you to play with.
Yeah, yeah. No, but everybody on the platform is going to enjoy it, because what you're going to see clearer, you're going to get more. The live streams will be clearer. The street stuff will be better. The interview, what? What?
Like,
It'll seem like it'll
honey,
make all the old
I'll
stuff.
be back. I'm going to film now.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm
the
gonna do some unique things, and I'm just looking forward to it. So this is why I'm trying to pace myself now with all the other things that I'm doing, and I'm just glad. I'm just happy, but I want to spread that. I'm not happy like, yes, I'm happy and everybody isn't. No, no, I've had to go through trials and tribulations, but right now, you know, I've always had great high points and, you know, at different points in my life, but at this particular point, I'm on a high point right now and I want to share it. I don't want to just like, you know, I mean, there's nothing that I'm doing unusual. I'm not like buying a whole wardrobe of clothes or getting a luxury car. No, it's to be able to do what I love to do and put that work
And
in and
share it.
share it, make you see it. I want you to
Yes.
see it. I want you to be there. I want you to, and if you ask me questions, I'll go back and
It's
ask
like
them.
a artist when he paints his picture or draw his sketch and it's just what he wanted to be. He want to show it off. Look at what I did.
Exactly, exactly. And with all the propaganda put out there, I mean, I'm not the Ghana man where there's a lot of people showing stuff about Ghana, but they don't show the whole picture. They don't, you know, it's like I'm at this particular landmark and I'm here with it. Show me a day in the life. Show
Show me the
me,
detail.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The good, the bad, the ugly. You understand?
Yes.
Right
Yes.
there. I know some people in the market where the common folks shop. Now that's not a put down, you know. And I'm gonna sit up with them when I get this camera. I'm gonna sit up with them for a couple of hours, let it just roll. I'm gonna put it on a tripod, and as people walk by, you're just gonna see it. But whoever walks by, whoever, you're gonna feel like you've been right there. And I'm gonna do that all over the city over time, and just different interesting things and interviews.
Just that
You know,
person that walks in front of the camera and starts scratching and be like, you might not want to do that. But I caught that on camera too.
exactly, exactly. You know, and just sharing the experience. I'm here. Why not? You know, I mean, I know the city, I know America, I know that and everything. So let me show for the people who may want to come one day, but they may not be able to right now, but you're going to get a good dose of it, you know, because there's a lot going on out here, but not a lot of people really, you know, and because of the construction
Yeah.
and, you know, focusing on rebuilding the platform and doing different things, you know, but slowly but surely, like I said, another month or so, because, you know, they got to take time and ship things out. And there's other gadgets that are not going to come at the same time that I need. So this will show up and that will show up and this will show up. And, you know, my date for my Starlink got pushed back a week. So it'll be another week and a half or so. And that's part of it too. And I'm like a happy kid right now. 61 years old and rejuvenated and happy. Who would have thought that? When all of the jokes, oh, he lost his channel. You know, I didn't lose me. Now with all that years of experience, it's coming strong now. What you talking about? You know, so I
What
don't
is
even have
coming?
on it.
You come in stronger, better, and I'm here for it. So I'm here
Exactly,
for it.
exactly.
I can't wait because I do want to take a trip there, but it'll be nice to just have some familiarity, live familiarity about
Right,
where you're
right.
going.
And, and also on the Patreon, which you know, it doesn't have to be about the Patreon, right? Because it could be $1 or something to unlock those things, or just for my chosen few, just share that information with them. I'm gonna really do some in-depth things. I'm just gonna let the camera roll. We're gonna burn batteries up in this bad boy. We going and I'll be carrying 2 extra batteries, right? And I have other ways of recharging them while I'm rolling with the other one. So I want to be able to go out and spend time and just let things roll. So there'll be certain videos that I do where, okay, this is what it's about. We're talking with this person, boom, 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 15, 20 minutes. But there'll be some long roll videos that if you want to feel like you're at the beach in Africa, well, we're going to put it down right there, make you see it from the sun is up to where it goes down. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, kind of
just put
like
it on
what
your
you guys
TV.
did when you took your trip and you went to the dungeons
Yeah.
and you spoke with some of the artists there and was showing this. That was lovely. I love that.
Well, I'm going to replicate that. I got more connections now. And I'm going to replicate all of that and take my time. Not like take the camera. I hate that sometimes on some of these videos. Okay, over here is here. Oh, no, let me see it. Let me feel like I'm standing there for a while. Let me let the time pass. Come on, don't rush it too quick. That's
You
like going
got
to a,
dizzy from them moving the cameras here and there. You like, I'm dizzy now.
exactly. I want you to see. I want you to feel as though you got this whole 360. There's I mean, they call them slave dungeons, but we're not slaves. But right here in Osu, there's a friend of mine. Her husband works there. I'm not sure if he retired or whatnot yet, but he has connections there. He allowed me to come there on a Sunday when there are no tours. He gave me their own private tour. So I'm going to try to replicate that. But there's a part that, and I'm going to probably have to take my action camera down there because down up under that part there has never been cleaned. It's a part that's maybe, how many feet? I say 4.5 feet tall, which means you have to get on your hands and knees and go up under there. And there's a door that is about maybe 3.5 feet tall. It's not a door. You have to crawl in there. There's nothing in there except nothing. It goes about, I'd say, 40 feet deep by about maybe 15 feet deep. And when you go up under there, as soon as you stick your head in there, you start sweating profusely. Because you can't stand up, you have to lay down. And that's where they stored a lot of people before the ships came. And it's dusty, dirty. You don't know what's under there. And it's something of a challenge for me. I have to take my camera and I have to go all the way to the back, the furthest corner, turn around. I'm going to have lights on my camera now and come back out. That's something I have to defeat. I went in there about 4 feet and I had to turn around. Now, there are no bugs under there, nothing living or whatever have you, but that's just something I have to do. I felt like I quit or something. I have to go. If the people that came before me, whose blood runs in my veins, had to endure that, I have to do it as a thing of honor. You see what I mean? And I'm gonna look, even though I have to put knee pads on, not the Kamala Harris knee pads. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about just to protect my knees in that concrete and that dirt back there. I'm gonna put on some gloves. I'm gonna wear something from head to toe, just in case there's any bugs or anything under there. And I'm just gonna go touch the wall, boom, turn around and come back out because I know like you can't hardly breathe under there. Yeah. And there's one in the hallway outside of that little door. There's one opening about the size of a cell phone. If you hold it landscape with just a little hole in the cut, how do these people breathe under there? It was filled up with bodies. So I want to show things that other people didn't have the balls to show. I want to take it there. I want to go beyond. I have nothing else but time to do it when I begin to have more and more time. And this year will still be compromised, but I have more time as the days go by, as we get closer to many of the goals that we have to get to. And oh man, when everything's completely done, that's all I'm going to do. Draw, write, and do our shows and travel and the traveling. I want to travel to different parts of the motherland. I want to go to different countries and explore. I want to talk to different people who are in power, not just political power, because you know a lot of the puppets are going to say what they want to say, but right. I want to reach out to the people and get some damn good interviews as an independent guy. So it's not just a YouTube thing. And the other thing I'm pushing now is that when one wants to see the show, I'm not going to push the social media platforms anymore. You'll find me there, but I'm bringing everybody back to the site. Like when you look in to this banner, it says tune in by going to Lancescurv.com. Right now on the homepage, the show is playing. And it ain't on YouTube. It's embedded on another platform. So if YouTube takes me down, it's still going to be there.
It's still going to be there.
But I'm pushing the site.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm pushing the site. No, you can come on YouTube. It's convenient. But push come to shove, at the end of the day, everything is on Lancescurv.com. Whenever I have a live show, go to Lancescurv.com. I'm not going to push the other social media platforms, but I will be there now to meet the people and connect with the people.
To meet the people, and then let's navigate over here.
Right. And I have other things going on. Like I said, I'm going to have the conference line all day Sunday. You know, after 5 hours, it cuts off, we call right back in. That will open it up for me where I have time to do my chores, but I can still be on the phone and talk. If I make noise, I mute myself. But I might be on there 10 hours on Sunday. You pop in, talk, we talk, somebody else, no line directional, but it will be put up, but not for the public. It'll be put up on Patreon. And those want to hear it there. You know, there's no set amount on it. It could be 50 cents, it could be 25 cents, but just to keep it off of YouTube so that if we fly and start speaking about them people that Kanye West had a problem with, or the C-19, drop a few words, we can speak freely and go back and listen to it without having to deal with them.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. I'm seeing that happen where other people are speaking the same way because of all the vice grips that YouTube is placing.
Yeah, YouTube is squeezing, and they for sure don't want anybody who is not with their agenda, or you can't speak against it or whatever. And remember, AI is policing it now.
Yeah,
and AI.
I remember when, like, if they started to play an intro to a commercial, you can press skip. Well, they're doing less and less of that now, whereas they will play the whole 2.5 minute talk of this, commercial.
Right.
You don't get the
Right.
opportunity to skip anymore.
Right. Well, they're not geared toward the creators anymore. It's not complicated with this. Maybe I'll talk about it on Sunday on the conference line or something like that. But I see what they're doing, and what they were before, they're not that anymore. It's corporate completely. It's been like that for a long time. But they're also compromised with different organizations all over the planet. I'll mention those on Sunday on the conference line. But with AI in there, you ain't getting away with nothing. AI is like those police dog robots. If they program that police dog, you can't negotiate with it. If they program that police dog robot
you bit.
To bite you, right, to bite anybody for any infraction, and you cross at the red light, it's biting you up. You go, no, it's going to bite you up. There's no negotiating with AI. Right. Before it used to be human monitors. They hired thousands of them, YouTube, after the YouTube ad boycott several years ago, which big corporations, let's say Disney, for example, who tries to act family friendly, but we know what kind of people are behind it, their ads were put on booty popping and booty meat videos. Not just that, but they found that YouTube didn't police where they allocated to put their videos. So if you sell hunting equipment and you have an ad, you're going to want to put it on a channel where it's a hunting channel, a nature channel, or whatever. If you're selling a Swiss Army knife or the Eddie Bauer version of this particular Jeep or whatever, it's all one thing. But they didn't care. So what they did, they blamed the creators and started smashing people's channels for that, for something they should have done. And they hired thousands of people, humans, to go through all of the videos as much as they could, but they couldn't catch everybody. So now, how many of us were on those videos working there? So if I said something a certain way, you might have some right-wing, conservative type person who don't like us.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So this is why it's just like a police officer who grew up in the white suburbs somewhere, and he becomes a police officer now. Now he's in the hood, the worst hoods, whatever. And brothers are on the corner. They might be shooting some dice or gambling or something like that. And he, oh man, come on. And he pulls his gun like, oh my God, the niggers are fighting. You know what I mean? And a brother who understands our culture would know what it is. You know what I mean? So now with AI programs, I believe they have less and less of human monitors, and they strike you down quick. There's no getting away with it. There's no getting away. So it's not fear on my part. I'm not afraid. I never was afraid to talk. But if I want to maintain connection to all the people and new people, because there's other ways to keep in contact with me. My phone number's up there, email address is up there. You can always get in contact with me. But a lot of people don't understand from that end how important it is to know where to go and to say, okay, they took his channel down, but we can go to Lancescurv.com and vibe with them. We can leave messages, we can email them, we can call them. There's a community there, everything, and they just don't seem to understand that. So right now, I'm putting it out there like that, but I'm not reaching. If people don't want to hear, fine. I'm still going to do what I'm doing. It's still going to grow. there's so many new people coming in. And from those shorts that I've been doing, that's where the people are coming in, the new people. Those are like flyers to a channel. They see those little 1-minute clips. And it's like, whoa, and remember, it's on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, so it's a lot of people I've been talking to. And that's the work, to bring it onto your platform where you're totally independent, which I am totally independent. They cannot touch the website. I pay my bills. You know what I mean? It's going to always be there.
Well, we got some navigation to do. So, like I said, I'm here for it. And, it's going to be a fun time.
Exactly. That's why I'm looking forward to it. I am where I projected to be. And after going through the obstacle course of life, it makes the victory even sweeter, because I'm so enthusiastic. And the funny part is, they can't shadow ban me on my own platform. You know what I mean?
There you go.
How they gonna stop me?
There you go.
Can't shadow ban black folks. You can't keep us away from each other and talking the way we do.
Nope. That's a fact.
Yeah. They won't be nosy. They can't be nosy. I'm too slick. I got so many years of experience in this bad boy. I'm humble and everything, but I know the tricks of the trade. You might get me every now and then, but more not than getting me. Trust me.
But it's we learn from the mistakes that we make and the mishaps that happen. This is how we learn. This is how we grow. And so
That's
learn
right.
where I got my own platform now. I don't have to go to YouTube.
Right. Well, see, that's like, you will get touched in this game. That's like every fighter that has won a fight got punched in the face. Sometimes they look like the loser from getting punched so much, but they won. So when you realize that even when the evil forces that try to bring you down, they actually put you on the road to your destiny even faster if you think past those incidents. And so it's like the wind blowing the plane, faster. That the plane flight was supposed to be 4 hours, but you get there in 2 hours and 45 minutes. So it has shortcut me to realizing certain things and tighten up. And I got more things to tighten up that's at my disposal that I need to do. And I'm so happy because, again, I have the time to do it. And I'm just so grateful. And I'm really in a good spot right now. So that's the joy of it all. I think I got to hit this button again. I see that this faded out. Okay, yes, Giant Game, you fell off for a second. I'm gonna I'm gonna wrap it down in a few. There's anything more you wanted to say? And
nope, I just appreciate you, and I didn't mean to take up this much time, but we just got to vibing.
What else do I do? What else am I doing? You ain't taking up my time. After this, I'm gonna look at some videos and doze a little bit and fall out, and the lights will be on. I gotta get up and cut them off and go use the bathroom, go back to bed. I'm flowing. I'm gonna get up whenever I get up. I'm gonna get up, lay out for an hour in the sun, eat something. I'm gonna go into town, take care of some business, come back, create some content. All my batteries are charged, and I'm gonna catch something out there, and I'm gonna bring it back. When you on the show, we flowing like this, it does not bother me. I love it. I just said that because I know I'm gonna do a few things and whatever have you. But we're gonna go back to the old-fashioned stuff. And like I said, I'm just waiting for the stone man. He's got some things going on, and when he does what he does down there, we going down here. That camera, ooh wee! It's a Sony. It's a Sony, and that Sony. Oh,
I
it's a sweet
appreciate you. Indeed, love and light to everybody, the chat, and give Mrs. Scurv all the love in the world for me, please.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. She's focused, and I've never seen her so focused in my life. And the things we're gonna bust out with, we're here, and maybe things delayed a little bit.
Matching your energy, bro. She's matching your energy. That's
what it is.
Call a power couple right now, so I ain't mad at it.
Wow. She blushes when she hears that, but she knows the deal. You know what I mean? But yeah, because she doesn't really walk around like I'm this, I'm that, but she knows. And when she gets in that Lily Fire mode, Trust me, she'll tell you.
Oh
I'm actually like,
gosh.
tell you, but she's like, oh, they think they're gonna stop me. They can't, well, oh no, 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 no. But she works hard though. She
Man,
works hard. But she's strong too. To be slender, she's very physically strong. I play with her,
you hear it
play
in the
wrestling,
lingo.
and I gotta put some man strength on her. I'm telling you. I gotta put Yeah, just she's a little girly girl, little woman, whatever. And I just
Man,
no
she out there in the dirt. Come on, you know she got to have strength. That's like a
swinging
woman that
machetes, shovels,
what the comedians
axes.
say. If you find a woman that don't have power steering, you don't want to mess with her. You don't.
No, in her limbs. I mean, she pushed me off balance, and I'm like, yo, I gotta and I mean, really, really, and I'm not talking about abuse. I'm talking about playing. I'm not beating
Yeah,
nobody up.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's scary to me because I'm not caught up in well, I'm a man and I should be this. And I'm like, wait a second, am I losing some strength here or something? Where'd she get this strength from? Yeah, and I outweigh her. I'm twice her size. I'm like,
Man,
but she's
they
all
let you
muscle.
know size don't always matter.
Yeah, and I'm 61, and the whole world knows she's a year behind me. So for somebody to be that particular chronological age and be so strong and lean and whatever, and then she don't look
She's
it.
my hero. She's my
Yeah, she don't look it. But she will kick most men's behinds. I'm telling you. I'm not saying she knows some fighting style or whatever, but anybody rolling behind, I got her. That's easy. No, it ain't. It ain't easy.
Nah, you in for a rude awakening. For real.
Thank you, Earth Angel.
Well,
I see you. But yeah, it's
I
just a
I
blessing.
I appreciate you again. Love and light to everyone,
Likewise.
and
We on the front
stay
stoop.
up.
We're chilling outside.
It
Like you said, sitting
absolutely
on the
with
trunk
some
of the car.
iced tea, baby. Come on, no, as
Exactly.
in the hood with the Kool-Aid.
That's right. That's right. No, but see, that's how I like the shows to be. We bring the points, we talk about the subject, we break it down, and we flow off into whatever we want to flow off into. And it's just something to listen to. And some people may be lonely. They might be in the hospital somewhere, laying down sick, recuperating, whatever. Somebody just broke up with
Like I
somebody.
said,
Want to hear some talk. That's
I
what it's
grew
all
up in
about.
the projects, and we had the flower pot, so it wasn't a front stoop for me. It was the flower pot.
Well, listen, I may have been brought up in the projects, but I was in the projects all the time because I had a lot of friends in the projects, spent a lot of nights in the projects. So I know that sweetness.
Man,
And it's a sweetness that a person just can't understand unless they experienced it. And it was actually
and you
sweeter.
have to experience it. You
Yeah,
truly have to experience.
It was actually sweeter than what most affluent people thought they would have because they had more resources. But no, it was just a sweetness. I mean, when you sitting out on them steps and you talking and you got to go to the bathroom, you don't even want to go to the bathroom to miss out on what everybody else is talking about, right? For real.
You dancing and twitching and you like, oh girl, hold on, I'll be right back.
Exactly. I ain't lying now, am I? I'm telling you, you go to the bathroom and hurry up. And then sometimes you ain't done on the way, but like, I'm gonna take a chance. I'm going back. If I have to come back, I gotta get back out there. And then when you get in the bathroom, if you're nearby, you hear them laughing, and you're like, oh man, let me hurry this up. Let me get back out there.
The one thing we used to do in the summertime to combat the mosquitoes is we take a newspaper and we roll it up, and it looked like a huge joint, and you light the tip.
Right. And just keep waving it.
Let that smoke out. Yep. And we let that smoke so we don't get bit up, and we talking a while. You hear me? Like, man, amber lights and everything lit up. We sitting on the flower pot just kicking the willy bobos like it ain't nothing.
But that's the joy. That's what I grew up in. And there are friends of mine that can come on here and tell you, even in the front of my house, man, it's like, it got to a point. And, I was doing bodybuilding. I had friends of mine, Mike Scott, Manny Lopez, just different ones. It got to the point where on the weekends, like say, for example, we met up at the gym on a Friday night. It wasn't just a gym thing. It was just a whole neighborhood thing. But at this particular period of my life, and they would stay and spend the night to the point where my father had purchased another mattress that we can just drop on the floor for when they spent the night. Because I was in the basement. And so we hung out all night, making noise. Yeah. They get up, and my folks know they were down there sleeping. They go upstairs to the full bathroom and shower. Oh, good morning, Mrs. SCURV. Good morning, Mrs. SCURV. And it's like, they never complain. We down there laughing, talking 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, sleep, get up, go train, go to Manhattan, hang out, come back, do the same thing again Saturday night. Even friends of mine like Angelo, who never did bodybuilding, he knew all my bodybuilding friends, and Kevin, just, man, shoot, I had a heck of a childhood, seriously.
I swear I did. I enjoyed my childhood to the fullest.
There's songs I hear bring me right back. You know what I mean? And I want to gather some of them to come on and talk about it. Then I'll shut up. Then I'll tell you more funny stories about me. Things I ain't never told.
We probably wouldn't be surprised.
Right, you wouldn't be. You know me by now.
Like, that sound like Lance. That sound like Lance.
That's the way we have to use technology. It's seriously, we laughing and having fun. You know what I mean? There might be 18 people in here right now by the numbers and whatnot, but there could be people that are talking on a show at 1,500 not having this kind of fun. You know what I mean? Who knows about that when you're in the projects and you don't even want to go to the bathroom because you're having so much fun? See, I hit it right on the head.
Even when it was wintertime for us, you know, and we got the card table popped up. Everybody come over there playing spades or whatever. Game fizzle out. Everybody just really sitting back, just, you know, relaxing and chopping it up. Like,
no matter how cold it was. That's right.
Nope.
That's right.
Well, go ahead, brother, and wrap it down, and I will see you at the next show, my love.
Oh, most definitely. Thank you so much. Remember, everybody, we're going to have the conference. I don't know what time. I'll put out some bulletins tomorrow and early Sunday. We're going to do something Sunday, just an ongoing, laid-back, lazy conversation. If you just want to be nosy and listen, or you want to participate, you want to talk about something, any direction, anything goes, uncensored, you know, whatever, just as long as there's respect. That's all I ask, and I'm looking forward to the fun. But thank you so much, Giant Gain, for coming on in. I can't believe I was ready to wrap it down earlier, but you know, came and saved the day, and everybody who's here. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna sleep good tonight, because after these shows, my mind is so stimulated, I'm so relaxed, and I feel like I did something that brought some light to somebody's heart, you know, and warmth, and just a humane thing to just come up and just be who you are, and leave your comments and come in and talk, and we just leave it at that. That's a beautiful thing, and I want to continue to do that, you know. Well, anyway, much love to you all, and we'll be back tomorrow with some content, and I might do a live show, but it's going to be content. I have some unique ideas what I want to do, and I have some chores I have to do. Mr. SCURV is going to break my back if I don't do it. Anyway, much love to you all. Take care. Lancescurv out on to the next one. Like, share, and subscribe. Much love to you all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey, look. Check how we moving with division in mind. I'm low side with my on division with slime. Been making plays, I'm finna dish 'em a dime. I feel my pocket vibrating, that's your on the line. Check how I'm living with division in mind. I'm low side with my on division with slime. You tryna hit me, gotta get in the line. Better go and get you some business instead of dipping in mine. Look, I hit the avenue, baby, I'm on a mission. I peel a scab or two if you play me some pimping. I used to talk a lot lately I listen. I'm quick to cut them if they can't play their position. We slizzard inside the Chevy, no levy, holding the wave. Blowing this herbal medley, hit like a bundle of sage. Popping my little ism, I did them dirty, I'm petty. Moving, you hear me shaking, just hit my line when you ready. Straight from that Mississippi, a plate of fish and spaghetti. Deep in they feelings, I'm feeling like getting fetty. About of my mentions, if you ain't mention that money. Thinking they play or we play it thinking it's funny. Put that in her tummy until she tell me she love me. If it work, I'm a genius, and if it don't, I'm a dummy. Funny that double standard, they never give you the credit. Leaving behind me to focus on where I'm headed. Like, check how we living with division in mind. I'm low side with my on division with slime. Been making plays, I'm finna dish 'em a dime. I feel my pocket vibrating, that's your on the line. Check how I'm living with division in mind. I'm low side with my on division with slime. You tryna hit me, gotta get in the line. Better go and get you some business instead of dipping in mine. They never wanna see me winning, I know it. Burning like I grow it. I got the feels of a poet, and even if I don't show it, I brought that and I blow it. Just bought a bottle of Moet. She lick a when I pull it. Baby dragging a wagon, I wonder how did she tow it. I'm that diva receiver, already know this shit, throw it. I touch down for the touchdown, make the baby bust down. Rude as I wanna with that, I don't give a sound. Every time they come round, spitting that garbage. Think he kicking me knowledge, but I was skipping in college. These talking that folly, must be off of that, and I can't argue with if they can't call me from Bali. I told them, check how I'm living with division in mind. I'm low side with my on division with slime. Been making plays, I'm finna dish 'em a dime. I feel my pocket vibrating, that's your on the line. Check how I'm living with division in mind. I'm low side with my on division with slime. You tryna hit me, tell them get in the line. Better go and get you some business instead of dipping in mine. Take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they said. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be a real, might get you canceled. The whole system need to dismantle. Coppers treated like the utmost wanted. Tryna rule the block but don't know what goes on it. News got a story with a new take on me. Carrying out the window with the screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my burn 95 degrees and I can't get sunburn. Wonder when your government don't make me legal. Burn the whole city if I can't be equal. Get off my please, Brad, I earn that. 400 years, how you still ain't learned that? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause gentrify the genre. Tell them free my middle finger to your honor. In the days coming down the seconds on the timer. Goofy still trying to purchase that designer. About to buy, learn to grow my own food. Cause I don't like the look they give me in the Whole Foods. And when you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. But it ain't on me now, I'm limping cause my heavy. But ain't sweet, think we thin. My whole attitude on MC Ren. It's my neighborhood now, Bob, I bought that. 400 years, how you still ain't caught that? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside.